Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube? Something a little bit different. I mean, not too different. We've done one of these dual tier lists before, but we're going to be doing another one, an updated one. You guys have been asking for it a lot, and so here I am, ready to provide it for you guys. I'm so graceful and nice, I know. As any tier list goes, I mean, naturally, these are just my opinions and Riley's opinions, which Riley's going to be in this video, by the way. Probably mentioned something about that in the title or whatever. He's currently in a Discord call with me, except I'm deafened. A couple things I want to say before we get too far into this. Obviously, these are all just my opinions, like I said before. Also, if we scroll down here, you can see there are a bunch of Guardians already ranked. This is to 1, save time, and for 2, just because I'm not really interested in debating Guardians and which ones are good and which ones are bad. At the end of the day, if you're playing a Guardian and Duel, at least one of these Guardians, there are some that are still in the list, by the way, if you can spot them. If you're playing one of these Guardians and you win, let's be real here, it's probably not because the Guardian's good, it's because the player you're against is kind of bad. You know, that's just the reality of the situation. If you're wondering why Ganesh and Khepri are rated even lower than these Guardians, it's because they're literally hopeless. Like, they genuinely, unless you have aimbot with Ganesh ult, you know, it's just, he's just not as good. He's just not as good as the other ones. Also, another thing I want to say is the order of which we're going to be going, besides Uller, because you can see there's a spoiler here, we're going to be rating Uller first, but besides that, we're going to be going in order from the way Smite Guru has it. They did this, not us. And the way they do it is in order. So at the top is the oldest characters in the game by release date, and at the bottom here you got the newest characters in the game. I don't really know if there's anything else I wanted to say besides, you know, oh, me and Riley, it's currently 7 in the morning. Well, it's about to be 8 in the morning now. Me and Riley just woke up and we're on a bit of a time crunch as well. So if we sound sleepy or whatever, that's because, well, it's really early in the morning and we just woke up and we have to get this done before Riley has to go to school. At least I think it's school. I think he has class. Maybe I'll ask him when I unmute, but he has to leave in a few hours. So we want to keep this concise, which is fine that he has to leave because honestly, I don't think we want another 5-hour video like I released last time. We're going to try to keep this one as concise as possible, although it's probably still going to end up being 2 or 3 hours. You know, there's a lot of gods in the game and we have a lot of thoughts. It is what it is, but we're going to try to sum up each character and be concise with it, not babble on too much. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and unmute and try to, you know, keep this and make it as least awkward as possible. Yeah, that's English for sure. 1 second here. Yo, hello.
Yo, what's up, man?
Bro, I didn't even realize I didn't deafen in Discord. Or maybe I just undeafened when I press my button or something. I don't know. But anyways, here we are. I already told them that we're going to be placing Uller up top, as well as the spoiler, naturally.
Yes, sir.
All right, so Uller, what can we say about Uller? Because when I actually went to record this video by myself and realized that it's just too awkward not having someone to bounce ideas off, I actually forgot to rate him because I just kind of threw him up there and, you know, whatever. Or, I mean, I rated him, but I forgot to talk about him. I mean, I think Uller, I mean, which you obviously agree on, all the top duelers do, Uller just kind of has everything in his kit. Besides CC immunity, he doesn't have CC immunity, but besides that, you know, he's got mobility, he's got CC, he's got lifesteal in his kit, he's got attack speed in his kit, movement speed, power, he's got a jump. We're going to talk about that a bunch in this video. The jump's just super OP in this duel map. He's just kind of got everything. It is what it is. Do you have any input, anything that I didn't say that makes him really stand out?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is the one of the reasons he's so strong is the fact that he's one of the only hunters with a movement speed stem and a jump means he can pretty much choose whatever fight he wants.
Yeah, and also just to be clear, this should go without saying because it's duel, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Uller being SS doesn't mean that he can't lose, obviously, and it doesn't mean that he necessarily should win every matchup. All it means is that he technically has the most winning matchups out of any god, but he does take a fair amount of skill to play. I'd say he's not completely brain dead in the sense of you're just gonna win if you pick him and you're a bronze player. Like it doesn't work like that, but he definitely is the best. He's the shining star, if you will. Anyways, on to Kali here. Kali is a very good god. I think Kali, oh, before I get too deep into this, do you think I should like just place them immediately or like leave them here while we're talking about it? Or like, how do you want to go about this?
I think we're both going to agree where Kali goes. If you're not sure, you can weigh on it.
Okay. All right. So I think it's an S+, and we talked a little bit before this, obviously talking about how we think that Kali actually could be an SS too. and it's a little bit unfair, honestly, to put her here. But I mean, okay, I think it's fair. But basically, the reason why Kali isn't SS is just because people, she's not straightforward. You know, she's not a ranged character that can insta clear the wave and it's just safe in every situation. She has a certain play style. You kind of got to play that way, and her early game is garbage. So at the end of the day, she's just not as straightforward and as easy to make work in Duel. But realistically, at like the peak potential, you know, peak gameplay, she's very good and can be just as good as Uller, depending on the situation.
Yeah, I think she's a little misleading because her rotation is so simple. But the problem I see a lot of Kali players have is they don't know when her like when she gets online in a fight or anything.
Yeah,
I always see
power
Kali
spikes.
W keying me level 3, and it's like, no, that's not how you play her.
Yeah, and another thing about it that I will mention about Kali is there are actually matchups slash situations, like if your opponent just misplays for whatever reason, where Kali actually can fight at level 3 or level 4. Like, she's not hopeless like some other gods. Like, I would say Naja is a worse level 3 fighter than
Yes,
unless you get a bunch of
level 3.
crits. I just want to mention that Kali isn't hopeless early game. If they play bad enough, you can kill them early. It's just that shouldn't be your plan by any means. Also,
No.
I feel like we should mention, even though it might get changed, but I mean, I'm assuming this is the correct patch. I don't know, maybe you know. But Kali did just get nerfed. She got nerfed not too long ago on her passive, removing a little bit of pin. And also, she just got nerfed again this patch, taking away her power on her 3. It went from 50 at max rank to 30, which I think definitely hurts her, especially in the argument of putting her in SS. But that being said, I still think she's S plus even with the nerf. She's just too good. She would have to get nerfed way harder than that to get put in S.
Yeah, it would take so much.
I do think the nerf definitely supports our opinions of not putting her in SS though, like for sure. Like because if
I didn't know about that nerf when we were talking.
Yeah, she got nerfed. She did have 50 power. Now she's got 30. And you know, it is what it is. All right, so you ready to move on to the Gooby Boy?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. And by the way, like, just to be clear, this should be obvious. We might move things around near the end of the video. Like, I'm talking to you and them, right? Like, we might move things near the end of the video. You know, that's why you should just skip to the end and make sure, like, if you're raging about a placement, you should skip to the end and see maybe we reconsider depending on what other characters. Like, you got to look at the characters that are in the same tier as it and, you know, evaluate whether it's should be in that tier later on. So Anubis is one of those gods where I think we might rate him a certain way and then end up changing our mind by, you know, seeing the gods that get placed into that tier. But my initial thoughts is S. Not S plus because I don't think he's Kali level, but I do think he's very good because the thing is I think he's very good in this meta with Chronos Pendant and stuff like that. The Bancroft's Rush, the Typhons is in an amazing spot right now. Magus kind of got nerfed and he likes that, but overall I think if you go Chronos Pendant Anubis, a lot of people don't go Chronos Pendant on Anubis, and I think if you do, you get max CDR. You pop up beads on that boy and reset cooldowns or a Genji's proc or something. I think he actually has a pretty high skill cap and can do a lot of interesting things. And he does 1,000,000 damage, especially since he got buffed and he can move during his 1. And also something that people don't talk about enough and that people need to talk about is his 1 also just does damage faster. Meaning if you get wrapped and you get stuck in the combo and you're about to jump out, but you're stunned, he actually does more damage with his 1 in the short term than he used to. So he's just overall a really good character. But I could see, like, if we put him S, I could also see later on potentially moving him down to S minus. But my initial thoughts is S. What do you think?
Yeah, my initial thought was S minus, but I do agree with you. I think Anubis still at the end of the day has the problems where if you get 5 or 6 items into Anubis and you have Beats Thorns, you're probably winning the fight.
Yeah, I agree. And Pestilence is just so strong into him. Yeah. I definitely agree with pretty much all of like the things. It's like Anubis sucks because of this reason. I just also think he has a lot of reasons to make him good. I genuinely think he's also like pretty easy to play too. At like a, you know, if you're a plat player facing a plat player, the Anubis is probably going to win a lot of the time. Like he's just very easy to play. I'm not saying we should fully go for that. I'm willing to put him in S minus first thought. If that's what you want to do, and then maybe we'll end up moving up to, maybe I'll convince you later on when you see the other gods in the tier to put him up to S, or maybe I'll convince myself that he's S minus.
Yeah, I think we should put him there. I think a lot of the characters in S will end up beating him, but I could be wrong.
Okay, and we talked a lot about these three, or I should say I talked, but it's because these are just getting a lot of explanations out, and the Anubis I just feel pretty strongly about, and I feel like we might have disagreed a little bit on that one. Some other gods like Odin. I don't really think need as much explanation. So based on my little descriptions here, very average and slightly below average. Which one would you say describes Odin better?
What's the A or A minus?
A or A minus? Really? You're not even considering A plus?
I don't know. Sunder just kind of like ruins him.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he does do. Oh my god, I just got a freaking.
I feel like he's just a better Nike.
I just got a notification in Smite. Hold on. Let me go D&D and Smite. There we go. All right. And by the way, I know you know this, Riley, but for the YouTube audience, I have Smite open in case we need to reference anything in the game. Like if we need to look at any cooldowns or anything like that, we thought it would be smart to open up Smite before, but I'm a dummy and forgot to, what's it called? Forgot to go D&D. So we got that problem solved. Anyways, what were you saying about? I think I cut you off. What were you saying about Odin?
No, I mean, I think it's I think he's just a better Nike. I mean, you get Sunder into him, and he's suddenly running away from a lot of fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the main reason why I don't know, I think he could be A plus because he does have a jump at the end of the day, and he has a steroid on his 3, and he can fight pretty well. It's
pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see both, to be honest. I don't think these tiers make a very big difference, but maybe I'll end up moving him later. I think he could be A plus for sure. But like I said again, if you're like the biggest Odin fan ever, just skip to the end. We might change the placements, but I think he's good, hanging out in A for now. Zeus. Yeah. Zeus is pretty terrible. I'm gonna be honest. Like Zeus is.
Yeah, he's Zeus one of the worst mages in Duel.
Zeus is pretty bad. The question for me, and maybe, I don't know if you disagree or not, is he Guardian bad or is he above Guardian bad?
I think he beats most of the Guardians. I think Guardians have a really hard time full committing on him.
Yeah, because also if you can't burst a Zeus very, very, very quickly, like obviously 6 slot Guardians can burst, but until then, they don't have the greatest burst. And Zeus's passive actually makes him do a fair amount of damage with auto attacks in the long run. Like he actually does a fair amount of damage just hitting you. So if you can't burst him, I think he would just assuming he doesn't even out ability burst, which he probably does. But even if he doesn't out ability burst, his autos are gonna hit harder than theirs if they want to commit to him. So I do think he's above Guardians, but definitely not good at all. He might actually be one of the worst dual characters in the game, discounting Guardians.
Yeah,
like slight spoiler alert here, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I don't care. Like I think Aphrodite probably goes in this tier, and I think Aphro is better than him for sure. That's just mine.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Hun Batz. I'm gonna be honest. First impressions, I think Hun Batz is sick. I love Hun Batz. I think he should be highly ranked, and he's great, amazing. And then Magi's Revenge happened. And yeah,
we're in a Magi's meta right now.
Like basically, for the only reason why, which I haven't decided where we're putting him yet, but the only reason why I will not rate Hun Batz higher than probably A or A plus is because of Magi's. Magi's makes it to where, especially if you go beads Magi's makes it to where you're pretty much never going to hit by an ult. And if you've never played Hun Batz, he kind of needs his ult, and especially in Duel. Like, I'm not saying you can't win, if the player's bad enough, you can smooth on him either way, but most high tier characters and decent players will, if they buy Magi's, which is a big if, not most people probably won't buy Magi's, let's be real, but I'm still going to talk about it in a world where people are smart enough to buy, the smart things, and it's a big weakness that he has. I think that he's better than Odin, even with that. Or at the very least, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I'm still not convinced that Odin's there fully. I think he might be moved up later on.
Actually, I agree.
But we'll see.
I think Odin could be moved up.
I just think he hits pretty hard. Like, he does pretty solid damage, considering the fact that his ult doesn't really do damage, like unless you walk out of it. And also, his shield doesn't really do damage if you're fighting and getting your shield broken. So really, then all he has is a jump and a 3 ability. But I still feel like he pumps damage. Like, he does pretty well. Like, I saw that Ravage guy. I don't know. I forget his last name.
I fought him.
I saw that guy playing against Trelly the other day, and Trelly was playing some stinker God Request. Like, I'm talking Yamoja kind of thing. But that being said, he still ran Trelly like 3 times in a row with Odin. It was doing some big damage. So, I mean, I'm just putting some respect on that. But as far as Hun Batz goes, I think he's got a lot of outplay potential. I think he has a jump, which is amazing to be able to PvE and run away and disengage, engage, chase, whatever. And he's really fun. Like I said, high skill ceiling. Also, low skill floor. He's not that hard to play. At the end of the day, he's actually pretty straightforward in that regard, like just base kit. But Magi's. Truthfully, if Magi's wasn't a thing, I might even consider S minus. I'm not saying he deserves that. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I would consider it. But yeah, he just Magi's. He can't ult people, and if you can't ult people, then they get to blast you. And usually the people that get to blast you do more damage than you.
Yeah, if Magi's disrupts your only CC, then all you got as a character is damage, and at that point, he just feels like a worse Ao Kuang.
Yeah, like there's more characters than just Ao Kuang. Comparing to Ao Kuang, okay, maybe there's not that many characters, but I was gonna say Nemesis also got his slows. Compare him to Bakasura. Yeah, that's a big one. Baka doesn't have any CC either, but he does 1,000,000 damage.
Yeah.
Zeus. Yeah. Zeus is another one. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Zeus has been nerfed quite a few times, but even now, I still feel like if you actually get optimal Zeus damage off, all of his abilities played correctly, he's going to do way more than Hun Batz. So, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. Poor Hun Batz, Magi's stiff. Ready to move on to Hebrew. I think this is just an S plus.
Yep, I think so too. I would used to say like beginning of the year he was S, but then I fought him again and realized I was so wrong. He's insane. He's still just Hebo.
Yeah, because even like here's an example, like the classic Fenrir versus Hebo matchup.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's interesting, and I don't even want to debate who wins that mid game or late game. Who cares? I'm just specifically talking about the early game. Wasn't it said that Fenrir just kind of leaps on you early game and just brutalizes you and kills you for free, calls it a day, too easy, you snowball, right? And I'm not saying it's impossible to do that now. I'm just saying that you have to play it pretty much perfectly and be careful of the minions, because Hebo in this meta with the mage buffs, which by the way, if you didn't know, all classes in the game got a particular buff in the beginning. Mages got power. They start the game right now with a tier 2 item and the class buff, and they start with like 80 to 90 power, and Hebo gets more power in his passive. So what I'm getting at here is this dude almost has 100 power, level 3, and a horn shard. If you don't know what horn shard does, it's like a little baby meditation in the beginning of the game where you can basically pop a double one or a triple one even and get an extra spout off that you wouldn't normally get. So long story short, I think Hebo has a very good potential to beat Fenrir in the early game. And that's like a classic counter matchup. So if that doesn't just show that like, his early game with Horn Shard and also just all the items, like I'm not saying all the items are his items and that he loves them in particular, but of course Hebo's down with the Bancrofts, Typhons. You can pick up a Poly if you want. Radzahuti is really strong right now. He loves that item stuff. Like the items are good for him. The shards are good for him. They just added a recipe to the game that gives even more CDR and apparently allows Hebo to double one. I haven't tried that yet, but apparently, like, he's just good, man. He's got everything you could ask for, really. Besides, he's very squishy. But even for a mage, I'm saying he's squishy. But he just pumps numbers. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that you said it. How I want to emphasize just how important the Horn Shard edition was for Hebo. Like that, it completely revamps his early game.
Oh yeah, because he went from just like splashing you once, then maybe knocking you up and potentially getting a second one, to guaranteeing getting a second one off on you, and then probably getting a third. And then it also means you get double spout. So it basically went from like getting double one and a spout to getting triple one and 2 spouts, essentially. Obviously, the horn shard's not that strong. The math doesn't add up fully. But I'm just saying, like, if they're not literally on their tower line and you're chasing them, for at least a few seconds, you should be able to get 5 abilities off at level 3, which is very strong. It's very strong. Yes. I've gotten a lot of kills early game as Hebo. Now, let's move on to Hades. This god, obviously, everyone knows, is very bad. Not Guardian tier, but you shouldn't ban Hades because he's very bad, and because I love to play him, so you shouldn't ban him. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds right. I mean, obviously.
Okay, you're supposed to disagree.
I would ban Hades.
You're supposed to disagree with me, Riley. Gosh, like, you can't just let me spout my propaganda. To be honest, I honestly think that Hades has the potential to be SS. Like, I think I could go toe to toe. I think I genuinely, maybe I just have a giant ego. I don't know. But I think that I could go toe to toe with some of the best Uller players and some of the best Hou Yi players, stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying I would win every game. I'm just saying that, like, if I played against Paul's Uller, you know, a Shinigami's Uller, and 10 times in a row, Hades versus Uller, I would win some games, okay? You know, it's debatable how many I would win, but I would win some games, okay? So I think Hades is sick. That being said, obviously personal bias in there as well. So I'm just gonna throw him here. Do you have any comments, concerns?
Yeah, when we were debating SS, Uller, Hades, Kali were the three gods that came to my mind. I mean, he insta clears. His late game is insane. He also does a lot early for the Horn Shard edition. It's a poly meta still, isn't it, for mages?
Yeah, Poly's still very strong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he just has everything going for him right now.
Poly being as good as it is, again, spoiler, but Poly being as good as it is the only reason why I'm putting Afro in A. Because I think Afro is very comparable to Guardians, aside from her kit kind of countering the Guardians in the actual 1v1. I think she's very comparable to the other Guardians, but she uses Poly 10 times better than they do. And like you could say Yemoja and Sylvanas, they have ranged autos too, but like they're Yemoja and Sylvanas, that's the difference. So, yeah, I think Poly's very strong and it kind of carries Afro a little bit in that regard. So yeah, Hades. I mean, you know, those of you who know me know that I love Hades. I played him pretty much since the beginning. Like I even played Hades in Soul Lane Conquest in season 1, baby. I played Hades in Soul Lane when he was a Guardian. Okay, like I've always liked Hades. I'm not gonna pretend like I've always mained him or anything like that, but I've always liked him. And he's very good. I have a very good win loss on Hades right now currently. And I mean, I'm not trying to say that I'm not a good player, and I know I am a good player, but still, there's not that many gods that I can win like 160 plus games in a row without losing. Even though the duel meta, the duel players are currently not very good, there's not that many good players. Even still, I'm not going to be able to do that on most gods. I'll eventually mess up or my character is not going to be good enough, but thankfully Hades is perfectly good enough to carry me, and I have yet to lose on it, and I think that just says something. It says, one, the duel community sucks right now. It says that the players are bad. That's what it says. But it also says that Hades is pretty hard to mess up as long as you're focused and paying attention and stuff. He's just a very strong character. He does everything you want. Jump, great CC, great healing. His ult reduces cooldowns. I don't even know if you knew that, Riley. A lot of people still don't even know that he got buffed. Like he got that changed where he has CD on his ult, and he also got buffed not that long ago, actually, like a few months back. He that got buffed from like 0.2 seconds CD per damage tick to 0.4, so he gets them back even faster. And a lot of people think of that as just being able to get like 2-3s off. It's also a defensive cooldown too, because well, it gives you prots and stuff, obviously. But also, if you jump in or you jump away and they jump on you, you can ult. And then if you stick the whole ult, and assuming you have some CDR, you can jump again. So you jump, ult, jump. It gets very strong. Hades kind of just does everything, I'll be honest. Like I said, I say he has just as much potential as Uller personally, but I'm not gonna just bias the whole tier list, even though it is my tier list at the end of the day. I'm not gonna bias it that hard. I'm gonna try my best to consider that players are bad, but also consider what they should do on paper, stuff like that. And like I said, Hades is like pretty much the best duel god in the game, in my personal opinion. But in the other people's, I'd say probably S. I think he's better than Kali, in my opinion. But yeah, he just has everything you could ever ask for. And I went a little bit long on talking about Hades, but that's because I wanted you to give your opinions, and also because this is like my favorite character, and he's very, very, very good. Please don't be biased and judge Hades based off of, oh, will I always beat the Hades players I'm against because you face an 8-star Hades who's in platinum and can only play Hades. Okay, you gotta actually play against someone who knows what they're doing. All right, you ready to move on to the Kukulkan boy?
Yep.
All right, so this is a little misleading. I have to drag him down here to scroll down the tier list. So Kukulkan, my initial thoughts. Weird. Like I think he's definitely better than Zeus at the very least. So I refuse to put him in there.
I mean, I would at least put him A+, just for having an 80% movement speed steroid and safe clear.
Is it actually 80? This is why.
Maybe it's 70 now. It's insane. Let me check.
I don't know. I'm checking right now. I already have it pulled up on the YouTube video and everything. Kukulkan. Oh my god. I don't want to take too long on this. Kukulkan. There we go. 80%. You're right. Oh, and that is so loud.
And, yeah, it's insane.
Okay, there we go.
He has BDK secure. I mean, he's just tower camp galore. Like, ending a game into him can be so annoying.
Also, we have to consider like how hard they are to use. I mean, that's the reason why we didn't put Kali in SS, right? And while I
Yeah.
don't think Kukulkan's ones, and maybe I'm just biased because I'm really bad at landing Kukulkan one. I don't know. Well, I do think Kukulkan's one, and especially his ults, are a lot harder than to hit than people give it credit for. I think a lot of people say Kukulkan's like incredibly easy, like a brain dead god anyone could play. And yes, anyone can play him. You throw your tornado at the wave, yada yada yada. But to consistently actually be able to land ults and land ones is not the easiest thing in the world. It's really not. But at a base
No.
level, I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit here, but at a base level though, he's not that difficult. You throw a tornado at the wave and you camp under your tower, and when they try to dive you, you throw an ult. You know, like he's not that hard to pilot. So I think he deserves A+.
Yeah, A+ is where I would put him. I don't think he's like better than Anubis.
Yeah, he's one of those gods that, again, I mean, this kind of goes for most gods, to be honest, but I'm still going to say it. Might move him down to A once we see other gods, but for now, he's sitting pretty at A+. Oh, this god, I will admit, I have turned the corner. And what I mean by that is I used to say that this god was nothing but cheese, nothing but if you ban this god, that's because you got a weak mental and you can't land your shots, kid, when she jumps on you, and blah, 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 blah. All this copium that I was spouting. Maybe it was true at one point in time. Maybe it was true at one time, maybe not. But she's been buffed a lot since then. This, most notably, her cat now takes 3 auto attacks to kill. Insane to me. But yeah, I permaban this character. I'm not saying I can't beat it. I'm not. It's more of one of those things where it's a double trouble for me. Meaning, I am annoyed by it. It makes me mad. It's a personal like bias thing that it annoys me, and I play worse. But also because she genuinely just does too much freaking damage and is too safe, man. She's so annoying and is really good at stopping your back with the cat, and it's just so frustrating, especially like my main god pool these days anyways. It changes like every year, but my main god pool these days is mages, and it just feels so bad playing into this character as a mage. I'm willing to put her in S+. What do you think? I could also be
an S+.
Okay. Oh wait, are you? I just realized I forgot to ask. Are you recording or doing anything like that for this video?
No, I just
Okay.
have a tier list on my own, so I can
Yeah.
move stuff if I disagree.
No problem. I mean, you could also like use it for your stream and stuff like exclamation tier list and stuff like that.
Put on my stream
if you did want to. So yeah, S+. I don't know, because also if we're considering ability, you know, easy, like how easy or hard they are to use, this character is brain dead. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm sorry if you're a Bastet main and you think you're doing something special out here in these streets, earning your MMR. You're not. And that's not to say you shouldn't play Bastet. It's a video game. Play whatever character you find fun at the end of the day. But let's be real, it's not hard, okay? Neither is Hades, I'll admit it. You know, whatever. It is what it is. Bastet's super good. She just has everything. Mobility, CC, wave clear, sustain, a great CC ultimate that she can hit over walls and she can use to chase you. I mean, she can PvE your phoenixes a little bit easier with her cat tanking 3 shots or whatever. Like, she's got it all, man. She just does too much damage at the end of the day. Are you done with Bastet?
I think her mechanic to just jump in, unleash your entire kit, and jump out just shouldn't be in the game. I think it's so anti 1v1.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's so hard to fight.
Like, my biggest problem is just the cat, though, to be honest. Like, I mean, I do agree that that is anti 1v1, but my biggest problem is the cat because of 2 things. First of all, why can't you kill it with abilities? That's silly. But
Dude, anyway, the mechanics in the cat are so.
And why is it 3 autos? But here's the biggest one. This ability slows you, and that's not the problem. It's okay to be slowed by Bastet Cat. What I'm saying is she can miss it or be out of range. You know, same thing, whatever. And the cat will run up to you, claw you, and slow you. They missed their ability. They're out of range of you. They missed. 0 skill shot, and I'm being slowed for like 4 seconds by a cat. Like, it doesn't slow you for 4, but I'm pretty sure it refreshes the slow every time it hits you. And so if you don't kill it, it's gonna keep slowing you.
That's the worst part.
I hate it.
Turn into infinite slow. Because
she just has no skill shots, and you could argue the ult, but let's be real. At the end of the day, you can just jump on them and ult in melee distance, and it'll be just as good. Like, you don't really have to aim the ult that hard. I mean, like, there's potential for a high skill ceiling with the cool ult plays. But let's be real, it's not really that hard of a skill shot. It's very wide, and you can just hit them in melee distance. You know, yeah, it's very easy character to pilot and just does a million damage and is safe all at the same time. and has great build paths. Like it's not that hard to double stack on her because of how safe she is. You can just go Transcendence straight into Soul Eater if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't know this. I'm looking at the ability. It's actually put in the description that it requires 5 minion hits to drop its HP by 1. That's what the fuck.
Yeah, I didn't know the number, but I did know that minions don't kill it very quickly. I knew that they can kill it, but it's not very quickly at all. They pretty much
need an entire wave hitting it for it to.
Yeah. Ra. This god, maybe I'm just gonna use Zeus as a comparison because we just already have him already. This god is better than Zeus, and no one can tell me any differently. But how much better though? I think maybe I'll change my mind, but first impressions, because I don't want, I want to give my first impressions before we start debating it too much. I think he's worse than Kukulkan first impressions, but at the same time, I've actually played Ra a couple times recently. I watched a couple people play Ra recently, and he does numbers, man. Like his 2 is very strong in Duel. Like, not for the numbers part. I mean, like, that's the 1 in the ult mainly, but his 2 is very strong. But I don't know. What do you think between, like, is he as good as Kukulkan, you think?
I think he's definitely better than Kukulkan.
You think he's better than Kukulkan?
I think it's the 2 that bothers me. If you rush Chronos Pen into CDR, like in the CDR defense item, he can just pretty much sit in his 3 the entire fight. So he's healing himself, he's giving himself protections, and if you walk in it, you're taking damage. Like, you can't, if you're not like an S+ character, you're not killing him until you have anti-heal online.
Yeah. I guess here's a question for you. Do you think that him having his heal and whatnot, because they both have movement speed in one way or another, and they both have slow immunity in one way or another, so I'm not going to bring that up. Do you think his 3 heals and prots is better defensively overall than Cuckoo being able to ult his feet, or even standing in the tornado for that matter?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
Okay. I mean, I'm down.
I mean, Cuckoo 3 is pretty strong. Cuckoo all is just so easy. Like, anyone just goes blink, and if they have a jump in their kit, they're not getting hit by it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can definitely just jump the Ra 2 as well, but that's not even your main argument you're talking about. His 3 and stuff. Yeah, I mean, because we're not.
Poly is what makes Ra so good.
Because I don't want to debate every single like S+ tier and stuff like that. I'm not doing them in order from left to right. So therefore, I'm probably just gonna, unless something gets crazy and we end up jumbling them at the end, I'm just placing them in the order that they give us over here. So what I'm getting at here is we're not really debating which one of these 2 is better. Or we're just saying, are they similar in some regard? And so that means like they should both be an A+. Like I was considering A for a moment, but honestly, like before I seen him like 5, 6, 7 times in the past month, before then I'd probably put him A. But I've seen him play recently, and he's a little bit of a slapper. He's okay.
And he's been getting buffs too. I mean, a while back he got the slow or the cleanse on his 2, and now his ult has some true damage in it.
Yeah, I don't know how relevant the true damage ult thingy is, to be honest, because I just haven't really looked at like the damage numbers, nor have I played with or played as or against Ra.
It's just additional damage based off of health.
Oh, it's not true damage? Because I'm pretty sure it shows up as white or something. Oh, man, never mind. Just ignore it.
It just says 5% of target's maximum health. I mean, it might be true damage.
Okay. Well, for the sake of
it is true damage.
Keeping the speed going here. Where you want to move on to Arachne?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your theory crafting session over there.
No, that's fine. It's whatever. I don't care.
Okay, so my initial thoughts of Arachne is bad. But she did just get buffed today. We have to consider that for sure. She got a buff. Do you know her buffs?
Nope.
She got a buff to where I'm just gonna. This is why I don't like grabbing the characters, because like I don't want to put them in a right. Okay, or what's your first impressions, real quick? Just first impressions.
First impression, I think this god is so bad, but I have my chat argue with me that she's better than I think. So my instinct is like A, but she might be A+.
Okay, well here's the thing. They gave her a bunch of buffs, first of all. One buff is at max rank, only at max rank, but she can put her spiders, the spiders she places out, they now have 3 spiders in them instead of 2. That's only at max rank though. So it is a nice buff for the late game Arachne, body lock and autos. For sure. But that's not
her 2 got buffed too, right?
Her 2 got buffed in multiple ways. And don't quote me on this, YouTube audience, but I'm pretty sure her 2 got buffed in a way that it now it got the attack speed steroid went from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. But the reason why they did that is because I think she gets that attack speed steroid for the full duration, regardless of when she stuns someone. She gets for the full duration, and also the stun on it has been decoupled from her autos. Meaning, if you hit a minion by accident in between, like how it would work before, is you needed 3 autos. Now you need 2. I didn't mention that yet. You need 3 autos to stun, and her third attack is slow. For those of you who don't know, her third attack in the progression is slow, unless you auto cancel with like her 1 or something. So you need 3 autos with a slow auto, and not only do you need 3 autos to stun them, but if you hit a minion by accident or a buff or another god or anything else, it will actually take away the stun. It has to be 3 autos in a row on the same target. They changed it to where it's only 2 autos, which is a huge buff in itself, and they also made it to where if you miss and hit a minion, at least I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure
I think you're right.
if you miss and hit a minion, that doesn't just take away your stun. So that is massive buffs for her. Like, honestly, they are huge. I think
she's at least A+ with that.
I think I would have put her A before, and I think now she's easily A+, even in consideration for this. But I don't think I'm willing to make that jump yet. I would have to see her play. Like, the thing is we're too biased because Arachne has sucked so bad, but she could be very good right now for all we know. Because also another thing is Gooseberry. Like, have you even played on this new patch with the recipes?
No, I haven't. I know what one of them does.
Okay, well, there's a Gooseberries one, which basically you can evolve it in like 5. Like, you get it after Golden Blade. Like, if you rush Golden Blade, you get it after Golden Blade, but not that long after. Probably like 2nd, maybe 3rd item at latest. But like 2nd item, you get Gooseberry Evolution, which is another Golden Blade, except it's 30% effectiveness instead of 50. So it's not the AoE isn't as strong. And so now she can go. I think you should still go Golden Blade on this character because her clear is just that bad. But now, when you get behind early and you're fighting those fire minions inevitably, because that's how the game works, she couldn't even kill fire minions with Golden Blade before. Like, that's how bad her clear was. At least now, she has 80% AoE instead of 50%. She got 80% AoE on those fire minions. Like, so we got to take that into consideration too.
Yeah, that's... I don't know. She might be S-. I mean, those are huge for her.
Yeah, I think we put her.
I think she's a hunter still, right? So I don't know.
I think we put her A+, but for all the Arachne fans out there, you know, we could be wrong. She could be S- for sure. It's possible for sure. Now with that being said, let's move on to Hell. Oh man,
I love Hell.
I love Hell.
That's so fun.
I love and hate Hell. Like, what I mean by that is, I hate going against Hell so much. My initial thoughts are S-.
Yep, that was mine too.
I mean, she kind of just, she doesn't have it all.
The meta kind of shift where she turns into S. Like, she just totally matches. Like, sometimes she feels so bad, and sometimes she feels so impossible to fight.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at S-, to be honest, is characters that are very, very capable of stomping your games. Like, they're very efficient at what they do, but only in certain circumstances, right? Like, they can't do that thing that people complain about in every single game. Like, they just can't. Like, for example, just a random god. Like, I don't know if I'm actually going to place her there or not, but just another example of that off the top of my head is like Hera, for example. Like, when Hera wins the matchup, she wins hard and she snowballs, and it feels like there's nothing you can do almost. But when she doesn't win that matchup, it almost feels like there's nothing you can do. Like, you just kind of lose. It's like one of those gods. That's kind of how I feel about S-, to be honest. But we gotta consider, because I don't even know if you know / remember, Hell got buffed to where her light stance 1 hits the minions. Like, she can clear the wave with it. She can clear jungle camps with it. And also her dark stance 1 goes through walls now. You can steal buffs with it and kill people through walls and stuff like that. So both of her ones go through walls, and both of them hit minions. Like, I mean, I know that was a little bit of an older change. Not old, but, you know, it's not super recent of a change.
It was a recent. Yeah.
But I haven't played with it, so I mean, I just realized this the other day. So
yeah, I did a lot of games with it. It feels really good. One of the big advantages to the light stance 1 doing damage is she doesn't have to position to clear the wave with her 3. She can just walk up, double 1, and then just go on the god level 3. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's S- for now, at least. I mean, honestly, I don't think we'll be changing that. I think she's just.
No, I think she's.
I think she's
pretty
good enough to
comparable
be
to
S
Anubis.
in a good matchup, even S plus in a good matchup. But there's not like, I mean, there's a lot of good matchups, but there's also a pretty considerable amount of bad ones too. So
There is. Yep.
we'll
I mean,
say
almost
S
any of
minus.
the S plus S gods probably have a pretty good shot in her.
Yeah, yeah. And this is another reason why I don't put Kali SS is because I think a Hell could very well be at least like a, you know, maybe not an expert Kali, but not a bad one either. Like a above average Kali. I think a Hell could snowball because people just underestimate Hell's damage, and she just insta clears the wave and just zones you off of every buff, out clear or out secures you on every buff. You're level 12 while the Kali's level 9, you know, and you're snowballing. So you know, just another thing of, I'm not saying Hell should beat Kali. I'm just saying it's possible, and so that's another reason why Kali's not SS, and that's the reason why Hell is S minus. It's one of those
Yep.
things, because that's another thing to mention, which this is kind of a mage thing, but I'm still gonna mention it anyways. Her buff secure is very good. She clears buffs very fast, and she's very good at securing them. She does a lot of damage. You ready to move on to Vamana?
Yep. This is the matchup I thought of when I thought of Hell.
Yeah. Vamana, at one point in time, I would say is definitely an above average character, which I'm not even saying he has to be A. I'm just, you know, I got to put him somewhere. I used to think this guy was for sure above average character for the most part. And then he got his changed to where he doesn't heal anymore, but he can't get cursed Ankh, which is great. But then he also got nerfed after his change, because he actually was, like, a lot of people said he was dead after he got changed. I thought if you built crit on him, you know, you got your boomerangs, you're this, you're that, and you he actually did pretty considerable damage. I thought he was fine for the most part, but then he got nerfed a lot, and to be honest, I haven't played him since he got nerfed. A lot of people said that he got gutted with the nerf, and I'm not the best at giving an opinion on that because I really don't know. I haven't played him since, but my thought, I want to agree with them and say that he's bad now for sure. He still probably
I'm a
does a
little
lot of auto.
biased.
I think he still does a lot of auto damage, but overall, I think he's not very great. What do
As
you
a
think?
hunter main, I've thought he's been completely trash for 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, you just
Well, try to think of it from mage
you just go
POV too.
sprint and then he dies. Like his ult, because he doesn't heal his ult anymore. So if you just don't fight it, or if you have a jump, he doesn't do anything. And he hates crit meta into like anything that's ranged.
Yeah, I mean, I think he uses crit pretty well, but I agree he gets abused by it more than he uses it. Well, think of it from a mage POE though, like because I do think Vamana does a lot better into certain mages. While it
Does.
sucks that your passive, I mean, I guess they buffed him to where he gets some effects from magic prot now, right? I think they did, but it's still, even if they did, it's less than physical. So it's like you have that, like you don't get to just build full fizz prot, dive the tower, cool guy thing. That's Vamana loves to go against physicals for that. But at the same time, I think he has a better matchup into mages themselves, just because mages have a select amount of damage they can use. And besides the ones that are incredibly low cooldown, like Hebo and stuff, technically they have a certain amount of burst they can do, and then they kind of gas out a little bit. They run out of gas. Hunters, they never run out of gas, bro. They just hold down the button. Like they don't
Yeah.
run out of gas. So like what I'm saying is Vamana mages can only do a certain amount of damage in a certain amount of time, and Vamana can withstand that in the right situations. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, outside of Hebo, I mean, top mages, I mean, Poseidon, he can't do anything too, because Poseidon can just go sprint and then Trident him.
Yeah.
Kronos and Freya do pretty much the same thing. Any of the
Yeah.
AM mages still just wreck him.
Well, you haven't said what tier you want him in. I would be
Oh,
down
I said
for.
I put him in A plus.
Okay, I was gonna say I'd be down for A or A plus, because technically most of the gods are going to be going, like, this is looking bad so far, but this is how it should be. Most of the gods, ideally in a perfect world, are probably going to be an A plus, and then there's going to be a healthy amount in S minus and a healthy amount in A for sure as well, and then also S plus, because there might even be, what do you think? There might even be more gods in S plus than there is S, because I don't know. I don't know. Well, I guess we're gonna find out, huh?
Normally when I make a tier list, I think S minus was my most populated.
Really? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess
but
we'll
it might
find
be
out.
S now.
Because, like,
I think
while,
this was before Horn Shard and stuff.
yeah, because while this may be like my video or whatever, and you know, it's my tier list in that regard, but I still, you know, I like to go off of the other person I'm doing it with and like try to make a compromise and stuff, like things we can agree on and stuff. So, like, I mean, doing it with you, we might come to a different conclusion, and that's okay. So Agni, what do you think about this guy? I'm just
I think
gonna leave him
Agni's
up
really
here.
good. I think
I'm
he's
just
really
gonna point at
underplayed for
him.
how good he is.
I played him yesterday, and I won a game versus a Uller run, so that means he must be very good. Everyone knows it; it's a proven fact.
Yep,
I
that
mean,
sounds right.
jokes aside, I really do think he pumps. Like he has like a little bit of a predictable play style in the sense of until late game, like late game he can shred, but until late game, for the most part, as long as you're building defense pretty early, I guess if you're greedy and you don't go defense until fourth item or something, you can die to an Agni. That actually happened to me recently. I ended up I was down in gold and XP, so I got first blood. I was playing against Hawkeye's Morgan Le Fay. It's a video I have on the YouTube channel actually. But long story short, he went defense like third or fourth, and I ended up coming back and killing him. But what I was getting at is he doesn't have a ton of burst damage in the early mid game, so it's kind of like if you die to an Agni, that's because that's a patience diff or a mental diff in the sense of like he probably poked you and you were like, I got poked, I probably should back, but I'm greedy and gonna stay, and then you die. That's how you die to Agni.
Yeah, yep, that's how you die.
So he's a little bit predictable. Like you usually know what he's gonna do, and he can't really surprise you damage wise too much until late game potentially, unless you have like a mid game lead and a power potion and a red buff or something. But like, so he's a little bit predictable, and that's the only reason why I won't rate him incredibly high. But I think he's pretty solid. Like I think he's easily good enough to be A plus. I think there's even an argument for S minus in certain situations.
I agree. I think he's A plus or S minus.
I think he's like the best god. If we put him in A plus, I think he's the best god in A plus easily.
I agree.
I don't know. I feel like let's just see how it looks. This just looks wrong for Duel, Like this look like what is this? Like this just doesn't look right for Duel. I don't know. I think he has to go A plus, but like again,
yeah, I am leaning towards A plus.
I think he has to be A plus, but he's like arguably the best god in A plus, even with future gods.
Yeah, I think there is a case for S minus, but I'm happy with him in A plus.
I think it's the same thing with Hell, where it's like in certain matchups or certain games, he is higher tier. Like he has the potential to skyrocket, but if we're being honest with ourselves here, on average, like. Because I don't know, very average. I don't know. We might move him up later. We'll see. Very possible.
A lot of people have this impulse to just 3 the wave every time.
Yeah, or just 3 the
level
god.
3. I don't think you. I mean, there are matchups where you definitely can't get away with it, but
yeah,
if your passive up, his 2-1 clears pretty well.
Yeah, I think it depends on the matchup for sure.
Yeah.
But like even gods though, I see people because people overestimate Agni Dash. Agni Dash when it's level 5 in your late game can do a considerable amount, but I think people just realize how cool that ability looks and they think it's gonna like do something crazy awesome. The amount of times in Conquest, in Arena, in Duel, the amount of times I've dashed on someone going full Giga Chad mode and then died and then was like, why didn't I kill him, and pressed the thing and realized my dash did 5 damage. That's happened too many times. Like the dash does not hit hard. Stop dashing on people. Unless they're 1 HP or you're guaranteed, like for a fact you have the damage to all in them if you land all your abilities. Don't dash on somebody. Just don't. Just leave it up, man. It is what it is. Are you ready to move on to Artemis?
Yep.
Artemis. I think she got nerfed really hard with the oh my god, I should just leave them up here. I think she got nerfed really hard with the roots being DR'd now. Like her cripple or her trap is not nearly as effective as it once was back in the day. But that being said, I have had very competitive, very, very almost lost, irritating, frustrated to the point where I want to end my stream games against Artemis turtling under her Titan and being very hard to win against players that are terrible. Like genuinely some of the worst players I've ever seen, like in the game. I had an Artemis go Shogun's first item. No power. Shogun's first item, and she went Pridwin in Duel. And it was kind of hard to end. So I think this character, while she seems undervalued, or it seems like underwhelming overall, I do think she's good to a certain degree. I think
she's. I mean, she's a hunter, right?
I don't know. She's a hunter with a big stem and CC immunity and movement speed, and her biggest downfall, in my opinion, is just that her clear is her early game damage and clear is just terrible. That's the biggest thing, honestly. If she had good wave clear, maybe even a little bit.
She'd be pretty nuts, to be honest.
Yeah, because then she would also have good poke too. And no, her 3 is not good poke, by the way, if you're wondering. Well, people on the YouTubes,
the argument for 3 is that it's 8 seconds. They're just base cooldown.
That is true. But yeah, I think she's good. I think honestly, A+ initial thoughts, but I think she could be S-. To be honest, I really do. I think she's brain dead, easy to play.
I think I'd put her in S- just for being a hunter.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think. Okay, so Uller, I'm not even going to count this tier because it's just a guy by himself. So there'd be 2 tiers above her. I'm willing to put her in S- for now, to be honest, because she's a hunter. Like, I know that's going to catch a lot of people off guard, but she's a hunter with, what is it? I'm pretty sure it's 80% attack speed. Like, I'm fairly certain.
It is 80, yeah.
Yeah, 80% attack speed. Absolutely insane to me. Yeah, no, like I said, her poke is terrible. I mean, low cooldown, but her poke is terrible. Her clear is terrible. She has a little bit of low mobility, but while those are big flaws, she still turtles very well. She still has CC, and she still hits like an absolute truck. Like her base autos, she's no on her. Her base autos don't hurt that hard, but if you calculate her 2 and her passive, if she catches you in a trap and increases her damage, yeah, you're dead, man. Like, or maybe you're not dead, but she did enough damage to you that you can't siege into her Titan anymore, and you have to run away and then get frustrated and complain to your stream like I do. So, I mean, she's good. She's very good. Bakasura. Yeah, that's an S+ for me. I think this character just does just about everything. Well, I will say, like, because I'm gonna mention his cons first, because I think he has a lot of pros. His cons is Midgardian Male is very good right now. I don't know how much you played against it, but it stacks up to 4 times, and it's a massive attack speed and movement speed slow. And there's pretty much no reason not to go Midgardian Male into Bakasura unless you're just really that greedy for like a cooldown defense item. It ruins him. It hurts him so much. But aside from that, what really is his problems? Like he goes Golden Blade, he has fine clear. He has gooseberries, fine clear.
He has true damage.
He has a jump. He has true damage. In a meta where power got nerfed, Hi-Rez seems to want to keep making people do less damage and not nerf Bakasura 3, which has power on it and true damage on it. So, long story short, he's just doing a crap load of damage. They buffed his 2 a long time ago. Not a long time ago. Somewhat recently, they buffed his 2, making it to where not only does it reset cooldowns by like 1.5 seconds, but it's also a fat heal. It's always been a fat heal, but it's still a fat heal and it's low cooldown. Back in my day, Baka 2 was an 18-second cooldown. Then they buffed it to 15 to make it like you could use 2 per wave because they spawn every 30 seconds or whatever. So back in my day, it was 18. Then it got changed to 15. And now I'm pretty sure it's like 10 or 8 or something like that. It's something incredibly low. So, I mean, he just does everything. He's got great damage, great mobility, great sustain, great CC immunity, decent CC on the ult, cripple. It's kind of like a little bit of an execute in his ult if you have crit and stuff. I mean, I just think he does everything, to be honest. He's just great. His biggest downfall is like a lot of other gods. He's melee, and people don't know how to play melee gods. That's it.
Yeah, I think he'll pretty much always be good unless they butcher the true damage, especially in Duel, since the Duel meta has almost, I mean, not always, but it's almost always been double defense. Like that, like the raw, like best build is a normally double defense. And true damage is just so good in that.
Yeah. And by the way, in case anybody's like question marking when Riley says that, I agree. I don't think it's in every single character, but there are plenty of characters in the game where it's considered cheesy, it's considered try hard, it's considered scummy, whatever. But actually, optimally, when you're looking at optimal DPS, there are a fair amount of characters in the game, or at least matchups, but I'd say just characters. Like, doesn't really matter the matchup. There are a fair amount of characters that building defense actually just is optimal. I mean, building double defense. Going 2 defense items just simply is the best play. Call it scummy if you will, but it's technically correct. So, I mean, I do agree with that. You ready to move on to Guan Yu?
Yeah.
All right, and let's not too much by any means, but let's definitely speed. I'm also mainly talking to myself because I'm a chatterbox, but you know, um, let's try to speed up on these just a little bit. Guan Yu, I think Guan Yu is about
Bad.
Odin tier.
Oh, I put him under Odin. I think he's
Really?
A. Yeah, he just.
Hmm.
I guess the main reason to me he doesn't have a jump. He's really easy to disengage from. He doesn't do BDK that well. He doesn't
I
have great.
I
I mean,
just have a
his
lot of
Buster's
respect for
okay.
the Transcendence Hydra's Guan Yu. You know, like he does a lot of damage for sure, but his 3 can be canceled. His 2 doesn't do that much damage, and his ult can be very good or very bad depending on the matchup. I don't know. This is
I
a
mean, if you're
tough one.
Guan, if your 3 is canceled in a fight, are you ever taking the fight? I don't think I would. Unless it's like a mage and I'm like 2 levels ahead with Hydras.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll leave him A for now. I agree. I think Guan has some potential for sure. Like the thing is, it's so matchup dependent. That's the problem. It's like there are certain matchups where I think Guan is actually really good, but it's like only in those matchups. In other matchups, it's you know, I think we might end up moving him up to A plus later. At least I might
If he goes
doing
to A
that.
plus, there's some gods in A plus I just think are just better than Guan. Like I would really debate Arachne's placement if she's in the same placement as Guan. I think she is just better now.
Yeah. Is it possible we're overrating Hun Batz? Because like I'm thinking like
Yeah,
Guan,
maybe.
Hun
He kind of looks a
Batz.
little weird there with other gods.
Like I think Odin's better than Hun Batz. He's more consistent. Like he can't just be simply countered by one thing. Like Sunder
Yeah, I
hurts him,
agree.
yes.
I
Blah,
think
blah,
Hun
blah.
Batz might be A.
All right, well that looks a little bit better to me. Maybe I was just I just didn't like Guan being by himself down there. I don't know, but all right, on her. This is an S
This
pluser.
god's an S pluser.
He does everything. We're not going to spend 20 minutes explaining on her. The god is old as dirt. He's got CC immunity. He's got mobility. He's got CC. He's got incredible damage with his passive and his one. I mean, name something on her doesn't do. I'll wait. Like, he doesn't have an attack speed steroid, and that's it.
He's got a structure. He's got a stun. He's got double knockback and knock up. He's got an ult that half
Yeah.
hits you.
Perfectly balanced character. Like I'm speaking in Smite in general, not Duel. I'm speaking for Smite in general. He's a perfectly balanced character, well designed. Everything's great about him. You know, if you get beat by him in Duel, you might not call him balanced, but you know that's a debate for another day. Cupid, I think Cupid is better
He's
than
S
people give him
minus,
credit for.
probably.
You think S
I mean,
minus?
I put him similar to Artemis. I think.
I
I
mean,
think he might be a bit better because his sustain is kind of crazy.
yeah, that's true. But in a world where you just like go lifesteal, I mean, I don't know. Lifesteal is not what it used to be, and also you have to actually have a wave to hit and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's a little criminal putting incredibly low tier hunters in S minus, but at the same time, it does support my theory that hunters are OP. So, yeah, we'll go with S minus for now. And again, because I'm assuming most people
S
aren't.
minus will probably be the one we'll shift around the most.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are watching the whole video or you just so happen to skip to this point, again, just a reminder, if you are raging and saying that these placements are terrible, we very well might end up moving a lot of stuff down later on once we see. The problem is you don't know for sure whether a god is that tier or not. It's mainly just a guess until you see. The best way, in my opinion, to do it is to compare the god to the other gods in the tier. Which, speaking of which, do you think Cupid could ever beat a Hell or an Anubis? Like, I mean, like, besides like the very obvious like potential
like 5, 6
hasten sprint
items.
cringe or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably shouldn't. Like he probably should just get snowballed, but he can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll change it later for sure. Thor. Thor is a lot better than I used to give him credit for. Like a lot
He's a
better.
little dirty.
But he did just get nerfed, and I'm not going to pretend like I know the nerf that well because I don't. I wasn't paying attention to the patch notes. I just know I played him for a god request yesterday, and people said his ult got smacked. I don't know. I won the game. by the way, against the Sukiyama.
I mean, ult's not really like the ult damage isn't really why he's good.
Yeah. I think he used to be considered trash, like unusable. I think me and David in my last tier list I did, we might have even joked on him. I think we might have even put him like down at B or A minus, like because like
he's definitely better than that now.
I just thought he was so bad, but he got buffed, and also I just never really played him that much. I was just a little bit of an experience diff. I've played him probably like 30 times since then, and went against a couple of them and seen him in streams. He's not bad. I think he's A plus. Well, hold on. Let me look at these gods. Kukulkan, yeah. Ra, yeah, I could fight into that. Arachne, questionable. Vamana, I think Thor could fight Vamana for sure.
I think Thor's good in A plus for sure.
Yeah, like the only one I'm thinking, like, because he doesn't have to beat all these gods in order to be A plus with them. He just has to have a fair, decent chance into at least most of them. And I think he does. I think he's fine there.
I think there's actually a point where I argued he was S minus.
Really?
When Bluestone was like meta and shit.
Yeah, I think again it's kind of like the colleague thing. I mean, this is you could make this argument for any god, but I'm just gonna say it. The problem with Thor is the player. Like Thor has the potential to be very good. Like it's just if you're a bad player, don't pick Thor. Don't go off the tier list and be like, yeah, we're gonna have a great time. Unless you're just playing for fun, in which case do whatever you want. But if you're trying to win, don't play Thor. This one might be a question marker. I think this could very well be our first S. I don't know, because truthfully, I think she could be here. I think she could be here, and I think she could be here. It's a very much so question mark.
I don't think there's any way she's definitely S or S plus.
You don't. Yeah, you don't think there's any way. Yeah, well, yeah, because of these gods, but yeah, I mean, she would just destroy these guys. I mean, definitely these two, but I think she would beat both of these as well. The thing is against this, if we put her in this category and look at these gods. On her,
yeah, all those gods beat her.
Yeah, I think they all beat her, or at the very least, there's a very good argument that they have a very good, potential. As much as I want to say this god is brain dead easy and OP, she does have struggles. Like she has no mobility. She's a fast character. She's as fast as assassins. She's fast, but she has no mobility.
If she went in S plus, she's the worst S plus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's comfortable S. We don't have to talk too much about it.
Yeah, I'm good with S.
CC immunity, decent self-heal, 1.5 billion damage.
One of the best late games in terms of DPS.
Yeah, it's also incredibly easy too. I mean, you have to be a good player in the sense of positioning to a certain degree, but the actual character itself, you can't mess it up, man. You just hold your left click down. Loki. I'm just gonna leave him here for now. Loki. My first impressions is he has a very good potential to be S minus, to be honest. I think he has a very good late game. But the problem is his early game is kind of bad. Like he has to put himself out there he has to 3 the wave. It's kind of like Hell when she had to 3 the wave. He has to aggro all the minions onto him preferably, and then 3 it, and then stealth away and hope he gets away. And if the stealth away trick doesn't work, then he has to ult, and then he just doesn't get to play the game anymore. The thing is I'm biased by like Gamer Lover and other people like that. And don't get me wrong, I beat Gamer Lover like 1,000 times, but I've also lost to Gamer Lover quite a few times, and I've seen him beat other people. Like I know Loki has potential, he does, but like, is he actually better than these gods being here?
He's just been worse. I think his early game is just worse. Yeah. I don't think I've lost to Loki or into Gamer Lover's Loki since. Because the whole shtick before that really fucked with me was he would go Boombas and then like bait you into thinking he would like go on you, and then he would just go and turn on a buff and clear it in 4 seconds. And that was kind of the whole shtick of his early to me.
I do think, yeah. I'd have to agree with you that he's definitely taken a big fall since then. But the thing is like there's no way he's an A, and there's I want to put him at. To be honest, I'm just going to move this down for now. Maybe I'll change my mind on it, but this is really throwing me off, like seeing Cupid right there. I think that this god is easily here, and there's an argument for S minus 2. But, well, hold on. Gods that are very average. Like, he does have a terrible early game, but, like, this character scales, man. Like, he does so well later on. Like, I don't know. What do you think, A plus or S minus? Because I can be swayed either way.
Even late game, he loses to most of the gods above him, so I think A plus is fine.
Okay, all right. Like I said, I could be swayed either way, to be honest, because I'm kind of unsure myself.
Especially Magi's meta, he does not like that. He's another god that gets really fucked by Magi's.
I messaged you on Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
Something that I didn't want the Discord audience, or the Discord, the YouTube audience to see. Top secret information.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not a problem because I don't know if you know, but I did it too, so like it's definitely not a problem. But you know, just in general, try to whatever. Anyways, now that we're done talking about our secret information that YouTube can never find out about because it's so top secret. In fact, I'm gonna delete these messages in case I task manager, because honestly, if that information got out, I don't think my career could ever recover. So
yeah, you guys can PayPal me $10 for the info.
yeah, I already screenshotted it and everything. Anyways, Fenrir, I used to say was just OP and amazing, and I still think he's great. But he did get
I
nerfed.
think he's great too.
He did get nerfed though. His 2. In fact, I'm gonna double check real
his
quick.
2 is more just scaled back. Like I don't think it's like I think they just forgot to nerf it when they did all the other.
No, they
power
nerfed
shifts.
it. They no. Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean, but they nerfed it. It's now 55 power instead of 80, and it's 20% of lifesteal instead of, what was it, 30?
Oh, the lifesteal one's pretty big, but the power thing was more just because they toned down all the when they did the power shift with all the items.
Yeah.
I think they just forgot to, because 80 power was insane after.
Well, they forgot Kali too. That's why they nerfed her this patch.
Yeah,
She
they
had
had
50.
like 6 characters.
Yeah, or maybe they didn't forget and they just wanted to see. I think he's good too. I think he's at least S-. I could also see the argument for it. Like, let me think. Does he beat these guys? Like, I think he can very well beat a Hell, but it'd also be very tricky and very hard. Anubis, I think he could beat Anubis, especially late game, but like that matchup would be so annoying in the early. Like I know Fenrir has this reputation for just jumping on you level 3 and killing you, but I don't really think he can do that to Anubis. Like, if that Anubis has a shell or something. So, like, I don't know. I think he's I think he's way better than these guys.
I don't want to put him in the same tier as Frey. Yeah, I don't think. I think I like S-.
I don't think he's S, but I do think he's way better than all of these characters.
I agree.
So I'm gonna put it here. All right, Hercules. Hercules is very good. I actually think he is the best warrior in my opinion, with the exception of, yes, of course, Bellona is better than him in matchups where they mostly auto attack, like Freya or most hunters. I say most hunters because not all hunters get completely boned by Bellona, but to a certain degree they all do. It just depends. But I would say Hercules is the best overall warrior, and Bellona is just better than him in specific 100%. Matchups. So
I think Hercules is insane. Like,
I think there's a good argument for S+, to be honest. But
I also think that. I think when he was like, before he got nerfed, I actually thought he was top 3 or like third, because you just play him like a better Amma. Like you can't out secure Boulder and BBK, and you can't out secure him on buffs, and you can't kill him while he does any of that.
Yeah, you know what's funny about you saying he's better Ammas? Because I actually lost to Chris T. Dixon's Hercules when I was playing Amma. And for anybody who watches my streams or whatever, because Chris is usually playing, in his defense, same thing I say about Rexy and Sam, in their defense, they're usually playing off-tier characters because they're streaming and people are donating for it, or because they're doing a YouTube video and they're playing bad characters. You know, they're content creators at the end of the day. But I have a very, very, very good win rate versus Chris. Like, I think I've only lost like 2 games, maybe 3, I don't know, out of like 50 or something. And one of them was Amma versus Herc. And it felt like no matter how well I played, no matter how amazing I was, I just could not, like, his character just has better CC, more damage, and arguably a better heal. Like, he just, no matter what, I even got some kills early, and I just couldn't fight. He just couldn't do it. And Amma's good, too.
Yeah, he's just better.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think he's comfortable at S right now. I think he's a very comfortable S, but honestly, the main reason why but maybe this is biased, but like, I just feel like there's too many characters in S+ right now. Well, I don't know.
I think he probably is S+, to be honest. Though I think so. I think he's very competitive with like Kali. I think the only matchup he doesn't really like here is probably Hades.
I mean, I wouldn't want to play against a Bastet either. I'm not even saying you can't win. It's just like, why would you want that?
Are unwinnable.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, we'll go. All right, yeah, that's fine. He basically, I think Hercules is arguably one of the best, if not the best, like boxer. And the funny part about it is he's not even a boxer. Like most people build like transcendent serrated hydras on him, which is more of like an ability base slash like burst build. He's not even a boxer, but he's so good at boxing. He just goes like the attack speed on his 3 and whatnot, in between auto canceling and stuff. He doesn't even have to like auto trade with you after, because by the time his abilities are done, you just can't even fight him anymore. So you just run away. So yeah, I'll go with that. Shablanque. Shablanque is not as bad as people say, but he's bad.
He's still one of the
You're
worst.
not gonna convince me to put him in S- this time just because he's a hunter.
Nope.
Okay, it's not.
No,
It's not gonna happen.
he's probably A plus or A.
Let's see.
I think he's a lot better than you speak. That they've ever since I put him as like the worst hunter in like B or whatever, he's gotten like 6 buffs in the like past 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the attack speed on his ult's pretty freaking nice, to be honest. For like when people are trying to all in you.
Kept bumping up the damage on his 2, and I think at one point they buffed his 3, and then way back when they made his passive easier to stack.
Yeah. Like, I'm just considering the threshold situation of like that attack speed on his ult. Somebody goes on you. Imagine you wait until your Aussie procs, because they just buffed Aussie, by the way. And it might be better than Devez, because it was already pretty comparable, in my opinion. The Aussie proc at like 60% health now, I think. And Berserker's shield proc at 60% health. Imagine somebody gets you to below.
Wait, Aussie, wait.
Yep.
Aussie 60%. Oh my god.
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
That's insane. That's such a massive.
I could be wrong. Look at patch notes. Anybody watching this, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Aussie's 60 and Berserker's is 60. So imagine you get half HP and then you pop that Shablanque ult and you just start blasting them, dude.
It is 60. That item is busted.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he's A+. There's no way we can do him dirty and put him in A. Like, he's got bad clear. Well, he's got bad-ish clear. No buff secure, pretty much. But he still hits hard, just like Artemis.
I forgot to say with Artemis and Shablanque probably love the new recipe, the AoE auto one. They probably really feel it.
For sure. I mean, all the hunters do, obviously, but some of them need it more than others.
Yeah.
Vulcan. I think Vulcan is a very solid S or S minus. The question is which.
I think with the CDR buffs he got, he's an S.
Yeah, well, you mean like the turret?
What is it, 10 seconds now?
Yeah, because technically his 1 got nerfed, but I would say it was a worthy trade-off. The turret was his best. I mean, the 1 is mobility, obviously, but the thing is it's not like it went from a short cooldown to a long cooldown. It went from a short cooldown to a slightly longer cooldown, so it's not like it's bad now. And then the turret is so good.
33% CDR buff. Like that's kind of crazy.
Like I said, back in my day, they used to use that 18 number a lot back in my day, and his turret used to be an 18-second cooldown, I'm pretty sure, or at the very least it was 16. I could be wrong, but it was something long. It was like 15, 16, or 18. It was something long, and nowadays it's not.
No cooldowns. He does his 3 abilities in 10 seconds. All of them are 10 or under, which is and he normally rushes Chronos Pendant, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
So that's gonna be a 6-second turret, 5 with a Chronos Pendant proc, 1 second cooldown with a Genji's proc. Or wait, so 2. No, 2. Yeah, math.
And then if you probably go beads on him.
Yeah, there you go.
Most of the time.
But the one thing though is, should Vulcan beat Freya, and should Vulcan beat Anubis, and should Vulcan beat Hell? Because I'm now looking at this and I think it's questionable. Like, he might just be S minus actually. I don't know. I just like Hell is an incredibly annoying matchup.
Hell beats Vulcan for sure. I think.
Yeah. I think Anubis can. Like, I think that might be a close matchup.
I think Vulcan's S minus.
And Fenrir into Vulcan? Like, are you kidding me? Like, the only questionable one here is
like top S minus.
Yeah.
Because they're just better than the other 3, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he can be S. Like, I really did want to put him there, but I don't think so. All right, Neith.
Yeah. Neith is very good.
I think she's S minus. It might come to a shock as a lot of people, because she doesn't get played very much. And if she doesn't get played, that must mean she's bad, right? That's how that works? Well, no, it's not how that works. There are plenty of characters who don't get played very much and are excellent. And I think Neith is one of them. She's gotten a lot of buffs, like a lot of buffs. a lot of buffs, and she has good CC, pretty decent disengage. While yes, her flip is very telegraphed, very easy to know where it's going to go, but that doesn't always mean you can do anything about it. It's a very long leap, and it slows your opponent when you hit them with it. So just because it's telegraphed doesn't mean it's horrible, right? And she can do interesting plays with the blink ult. Yeah, I mean, I think she's just good. She has great clear, great poke, great disengage, um, playmaking ability. Think she's good overall.
I think she could be S.
You think she could be S, really? Like
Yeah, the buff to her too, the auto attack steal. I mean, she creates a 60% attack speed difference. So like, and she instantly clears wave. So
okay,
you,
does she beat these
even as a top tier
characters?
hunters, you're not fighting her for a while.
Does she beat these characters though?
Uh,
At least
I
somewhat
think she beats
consistently.
all of them except for Vulcan, and Vulcan's I think is pretty even.
Mm, yeah, yeah, Anubis for sure. Hell yeah. I don't know. Does she beat an Artemis? Maybe.
She does. Yeah, I think so. I mean, Art just can't clear into her. It's like Neith is definitely double buffing her for at least the first like 7 minutes or 8 minutes.
All right, we'll put it there for now. Maybe change it later, but it looks fine to me for
Yeah,
now. Poseidon. I think Poseidon's OP, man. This character is
insane
absolutely
god.
nutty. The question to me is S or S plus.
I I think that's I think that's plus. I think he's very competitive into most of those S plus characters.
Let's see. Yeah.
Only one I don't like is Hades, but Poseidon or and Hebo, I guess. But Hebo's
Yeah.
a pretty hard counter to Poseidon.
I mean, what about Bastet? I understand you can cripple the jump, but like, I still probably wouldn't want to play into a Bastet as
No, I wouldn't
Poseidon.
either. But
And
he or Kali on her Herc, he can be pretty annoying for.
here,
And I think he's a pretty middle of the ground S plus. I think he's definitely better than Neith and Freya.
all right, I'll put him here for now. Again, maybe we'll move it later, but it seems good for now. Aphrodite, we already talked about this like 45 times, so we're just gonna get straight to it. Again, she uses Polly, and it seems criminal to put her down here with the Guardians because she could probably most definitely 1v1 all these Guardians, and that's not the only thing that we're taking into consideration with the tier list, but it's still, it just seems so unfair to put a god in this tier that pretty much beats every other god. So here we are. She's probably better than Zeus. Definitely better than Zeus.
Yeah, she's better than this for sure.
It is what it is. I mean, I said I wasn't going to put him in order like that, so we're not going to start now. But Apollo, he got some
Apollo
buffs.
is weird because he just got some like you don't think they're crazy, but I think they're pretty huge buffs, especially the magic.
I mean, I think they're huge for quality of life. I don't think they're huge for gameplay, but I haven't played with them yet. I mean, I don't know.
They made his ult faster. They buffed the damage on his one, and they made his auto attacks have like a small griffin wing in his passive, and then they gave him magical prots. So he's definitely wherever he was before. I think he's a tier higher. So I think he's at least S minus.
All right, let's see. And Defender, yeah, you can go toe to toe with Fenrir. Vulcan, I mean, every hunter hates Vulcan. Anubis, that would be hard, but if you get to late game, you definitely can do it.
I mean, he a crit. I think Apollo with crit beats all these characters. I think. Outside of maybe Artemis. Artemis late is just kind of Artemis late, but
I'm
I think she's a really hard time into him early.
This might be the heaviest bias we've had so far, maybe, or maybe not bias or copium, whatever you want to call it. But
yeah, this might be one we just disagree with.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm coping with you is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think you're convincing me that he's S minus, but like I said, take it with a grain of salt if you're listening to this. That might be some cope right there, but yeah, I'm willing to go S minus for Apollo.
Hold on, I'm gonna double check. What does his passive give? Is it 100% attack speed? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's just good, man. Another fact that he has magical protections.
Yeah. All right, so you want to go with you want to just move on? I mean, like,
yep.
Long story short, this character is very safe. He clears the wave fine. He's got mobility. You know, he's decent, buff secure. He's a hunter. That's what he is. He's a hunter. So it is what it is. Naja. I think Naja's very good. Of course, abysmal early game, terrible early game. But the thing is unlike the other characters that you say are bad early and good late, like Arachne, for example, bad early, good late, especially with her new buffs. So we have, we have to see and actually go down. But the difference between Naja and Arachne and characters like these gods is Naja has a bad early game. They have a bad early game. That's in common. But Naja has a good late game. And when I say good late game, I mean he has arguably the best. I think a late game.
Naja has a monstrous late game.
I think Naja. I mean, obviously there's some Magi's tech going around that could put a blunder in some plans, but generally speaking, I think Naja's late game is very well, could be comparable to Hades, could be comparable to Kali, could be comparable to Uller. Not necessarily saying it's better. I'm just saying it's up there with those. Like, it's actually an incredibly good late game. It's like a top 5 late game in my opinion. So he is the scaler, man. He's like the closest comparison I can give to Kali, honestly, except his early game, I would argue, is actually even worse than Kali's. But he's just really good late game. He really is. So for that reason, I would put him here. Personally, for me, like if we're talking my gods and whatnot, I would put Naja here. But as far as like the general population, especially considering his early game isn't straightforward, he might just be here. What do you think?
My first go is S minus. I also think I mean, you mentioned it, but he really doesn't like Magi's, because if you're late game and you have either crit or burst, that Magi's gives you so much time where he just can't play the game. Like, to get the Magi's, he has to sash you, and then he's in a really vulnerable spot because he's just waiting for that Magi's to go down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence with the Magi because I don't think Magi's counters the character. I just think it makes it much more tricky. But I don't think it counters them at all. I just think it makes it really hard. But I think that's probably good enough reason to be S minus. I think his early game alone, like the Magi's and his early game alone, just those two things makes him not S.
Yeah.
But, like I said, very great late game, man. Like if we're talking about level 20, especially in a world where there is no Magi's, but Hun Batz would be higher if there was no Magi's. So it is what it is. There is a Magi's, but in a perfect world, if we're talking level 20, this god could very well be here. In fact, he probably is here for a level 20. But he's not. So.
Definitely no Magi's. He's definitely S plus, no Magi's late game.
Bro, no Magi's and starting level 20, he's SS. yeah, but
I mean, you can make it. Yeah, he's top 3 or 4 late game, just period.
But yeah, we'll humble him, put him in the S minus. I mean, I think a lot of people would like. I think the average plat player would probably say he's A plus. So I think we're doing him a favor.
Yeah.
ESET. I know you can say the other word now, but I'm not going to say it anyways. So we're going to say ESET. I think this god does a lot of damage and is actually really safe, but overall still underwhelming for sure.
Very. Yeah. I mean, I think she's okay. I'm surprised I never see her.
Yeah.
But she's probably A or A plus.
She's just no mobility. It requires you to land your shots consistently, and most importantly of all, and this could be said for a lot of mages, don't get me wrong, or a lot of gods in general, but it's just, why would you ever pick this god when there are plenty of other options that are similar, like same class and everything, that are just better? Like they do everything that person does and then some. It's just better. So it's like, it's not that she's terrible. You can play her, you can win. She has good scaling. She does a lot of damage, relatively safe if you're in your tower, but why would you pick her? Like, why? Same argument goes for these guys, but my personal bias would be, well, because these two are more fun than he said. But, whatever, it is.
Do you think she's comparable to Ra and Agni? I think she might be A.
I don't know. I think she...
You're clearly gonna be interrupted, and beads kind of just like her burst is a little awkward if you have beads.
I feel like she also has to commit herself a little bit more. Like these two kind of just press their buttons and immediately jet out, and she does too in the sense that she flaps her wings and goes backwards. But I would still argue she has to go in a little bit more. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down with that. I don't really care that much about ESET, and for the purpose of speeding up the video a little bit, I agree with that. Kronos. Now this god has the potential to be there. He's very good, but he's not there. He's one of these two, I would say. He's got before I go into in detail about that, you know, he's got great mobility, great wave clear, great tower damage, great PvE potential. He pretty much does just about everything correct. The major problems with him is I feel like for him to have reach his true potential, you have to be pretty decent at landing the freehand ones with no stun. You have to be pretty decent at landing those, which is kind of hard for a lot of people. I even struggle with it at times. And I mean, honestly, I was gonna list some flaws. I'm trying to think, like, how many? Really, what can you think of any Chronos flaws, like realistically, besides him just being not
He
entirely
can't
brain
build
dead?
crit.
Can't build
That's
crit,
about
yeah.
it.
I mean, like especially in a world where like we talked about, double defense is optimal sometimes, and like one of the big problems I'd say with Chronos is just not being able to get your ult off in time. I mean, just go double defense and call it a
Yeah, double
day.
defense Chronos is so good.
Like Berserker Shield 6th item, you know,
Yeah.
or something like that. A Midgard.
I want to put him S plus, but he also loses to Freya. Like but that's also just a really niche counter matchup for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't go off of that. Like for example, like right here, if we were talking about putting a god in S and one god here beat him, I wouldn't say that makes him not
Yeah,
S. But
yeah. I think he's probably like high tier S. I think you definitely could put him in S plus.
I don't know, because I think Neith actually would have a fair matchup into Chronos too.
I think Neith does really well into Chronos.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I don't think he's S plus, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I think like a really good Chronos player is gonna do great. Like they're just gonna do great. But look at all these other gods, man. Kali probably wins late.
Just so nutty.
Hebo destroys Chronos. Like, I don't know if you've ever played that or not, but I had the unfortunate event of playing against Paul's Hebo as Chronos, and again, it's Paul, so he's goated and amazing at the game, sure. But it's Hebo. Hebo's not hard to play, guys. He just walked at me and pressed 1 off cooldown, and there's nothing I could do about it. If I ever stunned him, he ulted me, and then I had to ult away, and then the fight was over, or I died before I got my ult. Like, it was just bad, okay? It was just bad. It's terrible. It's a terrible time. Hades, Chronos beats, I mean, Chronos can do well in the Hades, but Hades beats Chronos, Bastet beats Chronos, Baka beats Chronos, probably beats Chronos, depending on the player, I guess. Hercules can beat Chronos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's S, man. He's just S.
He's S, yeah, I agree.
Because, like, we're also talking about how these guys can go toe-to-toe. Like, it feels criminal, because Chronos is such a good dual god, man. I want to put him S+.
It's weird putting him in S, but everyone else above him, for the most part, beats him, and the gods in S with him are pretty competitive.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Chang'e, she got buffed. Her passive got buffed or whatever, making it to where she does like more damage if she spams abilities on people. And I think she's a lot better than people say she is. But I think it's criminal to put her in A. I'm sorry. Dude, Chang'e, I'm not saying she would destroy these gods, but Chang'e could win against these gods for sure. And Chang'e can beat a Kukulkan, if in the right situations. She can beat a Ra in the right situations. I think she has a great late game. I'm a big Chang'e believer. I don't play her because, in my opinion, she's kind of just boring and has a really slow start. But like as far as late game mages go, I think she's very good.
Her clear is pretty decent early, and just the fact she gets movement speed while casting shit, is pretty insane.
I do think, and I said she's very good, which this kind of is contradicting that, but I mean she's good to the point where like she's not bad. Like I guess that's what I mean is she's not bad at the end of the day. So I think she's just an average character, which being average in duel, and depending on who you ask, being average in duel is considered bad. It depends on who you ask, I guess. But I think being average in duel is just fine. I mean, at the end of the day, Agni's in here, which depending on, by the end, we might decide that's a crime. We'll see. But like being in the same tier with Agni is a good day, I think. Like Agni's pretty good. Fine. Tier, I think tier is good. I like tier. I think the right tier can be. Good. I think the right tier can be S-, to be honest.
He gets so many free stats too. Like, he's so hard to lock down.
Well, we have to be fair here. Let's compare. Would Naja beat any of these or would not Naja? Would Tyr beat any of these characters? I think he can beat Vulcan
into like half of them.
And I think he can snowball Naja.
He also has his passive's pretty great for Apollo.
So he also got buffed. He's got the stun and the extra damage on his ult and stuff.
Yeah, I think he can fight these guys for the most part. Anubis is probably his worst one here.
Because
or maybe
even if he
Fen.
can't beat all of them or whatever, like the point is like it's not hopeless. Like you can win these
No, it's
matchups.
definitely not.
Fenrir is extra tricky because he's got the jump. He can jump
Fen is
over.
Fen's probably his worst one here.
Yeah, he can jump over your fearless. He can CC immune it, and most notably, he can just brutalize. So like Fenrir is bad. Also in lore, Fenrir is bad.
The
But
lore.
whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's a crime. Sue me. Whatever. Zhong is very good. Zhong is very good. I
Zhong
think
is
he's S
awesome.
minus. I don't even know what else to say about this. I think it's just good. He double
I mean,
procs
double
Cyclopean
Talkines. He's super tanky right now.
and Cyclopean too, because like it doesn't
yeah.
double proc the same way as Telkines. How Cyclopean works is every time you get burst damage on the first auto, and then every auto after that lowers the cooldown on the burst damage, and he gets 2 autos per, so he gets a lot of burst damage. I mean, he procs Cyclopean a lot. And he's super tanky, unmissable spells, and good healing because they buffed his book too. They made it to where it's a 2-second stun at level 1 if you have the card on him, the 1. And so you don't have to level the book anymore. What you can do is you level the 1, in most situations because it's just the easiest to poke. But in situations where you don't really need poke, you're all-inning or whatever, you can even just level his 2 again, like back in the old school days, and have big heals and big burst damage.
Yeah,
you can heal a
I
lot
did that
off the
before
wave
too. I just like having the burst and the heal over the 1.
I leveled the 1 and the 3. I think a lot of people did that, honestly. Like Funkbot, you remember him? I think that's what he did. I'm pretty sure.
He definitely, especially when like all the rings had movement speed and gem was good, and he definitely leveled the 1.
Yeah, I mean the 1's just easier because you don't have to commit yourself at all. It's just like the hell 3 on clearing the wave, except we're talking about fighting.
Yeah,
you can just throw the 1 and run away and spam laugh. Call it a day. Or like say even if you don't have to, like even if you're not scared of them, sometimes they just hide so far back in their tower, man, you can't hit them with the 2 unless you're willing to take a bunch of extra damage.
Yeah.
Mercury, I think this god in every single tier list I've ever done and ever will do, I can say this god has the potential to be S+. But realistically, like I'm just talking about late game Merc, it's very good. But realistically, I don't know. His clear is not great till he gets Golden Blade, although we do have Gooseberries now as well. Golden Blade, Gooseberries. He does well with crit. Crit's good right now. I'd say the biggest problem is he doesn't love the map we're on. At least in comparison to J Corruption.
Say. If this map had a speed buff, he'd go up like 2 tiers.
I mean, also just more farm in general. He just likes running around the map. Like, I agree. Yeah. I agree 100%. Speed buff is a massive buff to him. But I would say even if J Corruption map had a purple buff, he'd be, maybe almost just as good. Because he just likes running around the map getting farm. He's just a little farm boy at the end of the day. But I think it's criminal to put him with these guys.
His late's nuts.
I think it is absolutely criminal to put him in this character or in this tier. Like,
I think I'm fine putting him S-, because he doesn't have that. I don't think he has that many troubles getting to late.
He's just so fast. You can juke everything. CC immunity, mobility.
Can wave to like make sure he doesn't lose stuff.
Yeah, and most
importantly, you can't really BK into him if he's just staring you down.
Most importantly, he has one of the best stims in the game, kind of like Artemis. Like his 2 is super strong, man. I think that's just who he is. Thanatos.
He's worse Kama. That's pretty much his identity in Duel.
Yeah, I think Thanatos would absolutely obliterate the characters in A though.
Yeah, I think he's A+. Yeah. I think he used to be S-. I think like a perfectly played Thana is kind of cracked, but you miss one scythe and you're dead. And I mean, amazing players are doing that. So.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many games I played against Thanatos, and he just surrendered because, well, he was gonna lose. Like I was winning the game, but most importantly, he would blink on me over a wall and miss a sight, and then just F6. He just would F6. Like, yep, we're dead. It's over. Yeah, I think putting him up here is misleading to people, and people will try him out and then get smoked. He's not that easy to play realistically, and putting him down here is just a crime. So yeah, there you go. Decent wave clear with the 3 and the cleave. Pretty good sustain overall. Just a hard character to master. Like it's not even like he's that hard. It's more of just if you miss the 1, you die. So you need to land it, and he's not the most straightforward. So hey, all right, someone call. I think Song Kong is blasting the tiers right now in other game modes. Like he got nerfed recently, and I think he's still good. Like I could be wrong about this. So I don't pretend to be a Conquest Andy, but I'm pretty sure he's getting top picked in Conquest right now. But this is Duel. I just wanted to say that the power on his passive is a little bit more valuable. I guess people are considering it because of the whatever. But overall, I think this character is good. Here's my situation. I think he's not good enough to be S minus, but with that being said, when I put him in this tier, he looks so much better than these guys. That's the way I feel about it. Like maybe I'm just biased because I went against a bunch of Wukongs recently and I like him, but like he's so easy to play and actually does a lot of damage. Like he does a lot of damage.
I think as long as you respect Sun Wukong, like anyone above him beats him. He's just his damage is very, very predictable, so it's pretty easy to tell when and if you can actually like just walk up. I don't think you should ever really die to him because he's so telegraphed.
I agree with that. It's kind of that's kind of the same argument we used with Agni, besides like the late game. I don't know. What are you trying to say? Are you trying to say he's A, or are you okay with A+?
I think he's A. I think he's A plus.
Okay.
I think another problem he has is all of his abilities kind of a slow animation, and you can't build him AA for that reason. So like, you have to go into ability base, and it takes him like, I mean, if you include the wind up and his ult, like 7 seconds to use his entire kit on you.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I was pouring a water bottle, so I had to mute there. I don't know. I'm starting to think we're overvaluing Kukulkan and Ra. Like I'm looking at these gods, and I think a lot of these gods just win, at least to a certain degree. But I mean, that's a problem for the end of the tier list. We could change it right now, but
fine-ish there. Loki still feels weird there to me now.
I feel like I'm fine with everyone. I feel like for the sake of time, it'll be a lot easier to debate it when we have more things on the board. So that's why I say we'll do it later. AMC. I think the average Duel player is going to say he's S plus. I think me and you are not going to say that.
No.
I think
he's probably S minus. He's just still good.
Let's see.
Like, he's still a hunter, and his ult's pretty nuts.
The problem is like AMC is like one of those weird picks that's like he's a top pick because he's easy to play and because he is good, but at the same time, he like all of the top picks beat him. Literally, like all of the top picks beat him. He's like the best pick after bans if there were 20 bans.
Even top tier or late game hunt, like I think Apollo and Art don't have an awful time in AMC late. At least Artemis. Apollo probably has a pretty weird time, but Artemis loves that matchup the second it gets like 4
I'm just
items.
saying, like, I'm not saying we should dictate all of our decisions based on this, but like, bro, the Duel community is going to have a fit putting AMC in the same category as Tier and Naja.
I mean, he's definitely, I don't know. I mean, you could put him in S, but I think he's pretty comparable to like to Vulcan and Fen and Hell. I think he's on that same wavelength. He doesn't have a jump, and his steroid can be literally removed from him.
Yeah.
So
my thing is like, I feel like he could be S, but the problem with this is it's a little bit misleading because unless people are listening to us right now, they're not going to understand the fact that if he is a S, if he is a bottom S, like he is the worst god in S. I think I don't know. I think I might bias myself here and go with the Duel community and just say what do and say. Like, I don't know, part of me wants to do that ego good player thing where I say, you guys are all wrong, you all suck, I'm a GM player, AMC's bad, trust me. But like, bro, the evidence is there that like, bad players pick this god and get the GM with it. Like he's
yeah.
you think the average bad player is gonna get the GM with Tier or Naja or something,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to put him S, but near the end, I might end up being like, yeah, because if we add even more gods to this, even more gods that beat him really hard. Weird. Yeah, but for now, we'll leave him there. Make some adjustments at the end because we don't have that much time left. We have like an hour and a half left, right? Do you have to leave, do you have to get off earlier than 11 or is it
if we can do an hour, that'd be nice, but I'm fine an hour and a half.
Okay, okay. All right, well, let's start speeding it up a little bit. Not too much to where we just don't talk about the gods, but definitely speed it up. Chalk, how do you feel about him?
Chalk, I don't like Chalk, especially with they changed it so his healing doesn't scale off damage. It's just a base flat healing. I think he's so bad, and I think he'll stay bad because that was like his whole niche. What was the fact that he can just heal through everything until he
Yeah.
got late game?
Yeah, and also they did buff him and they gave him they nerfed his ult. They made it a 90-second base. It used to be 75, but they buffed him and made it to where his rain, his 3 removes 10% power, which is good, but I'm not saying
Yeah,
that's game breaking or
that is
anything.
good.
Um is he realistically better than any of these guys? I think he can go toe to toe with a lot of these gods, but I don't think he wins.
No, I
Like,
don't think he wins. Yeah,
he
I,
just
I think
goes
he's like a top A plus.
okay. Yeah, I'm down. Again, some of these gods it seems criminal because it's like AMC being S. Like realistically, I don't think he's better than these gods. He's at the bottom of the S. So like Chalk,
Yeah,
I honestly think Chalk and Agni are like the top of A plus for
I
sure.
think Chalk is like Wukong, or if you respect him while you fight him, he's just not gonna do anything.
Yeah, I
Like
will mention though he's
realistically,
incredibly safe, just like Wukong though. But he's
yeah,
incredibly safe as long as you're putting your 1 down and you're putting your 3, whatever to slow them off you. You're teleporting over stuff, all that good stuff.
yep.
Oh, but by the way, what's happening in your background right now? Is that a dog?
Oh, can you hear that?
Yeah, it's not loud, but I can hear it a little bit.
My dogs are having an aneurysm.
Oh, it's one of those things where it's like, for me, I personally don't care, but for a YouTube video, I'm mentioning it. Mm-mm.
I'll just go push to talk.
Okay, okay, yeah. Like I said, I'm not really that much of a stickler, but I don't care. But I'm just trying to be respectful of the OCD YouTube audience, I suppose. Um, Even though realistically, if you're watching this whole video, first of all, you're a freak, but thank you. But if you're watching this whole video, you're probably putting some music on in the background or something, or just not paying that much attention. Not a big of a deal. But I think Chalk's a good A plus. Nemesis, I think she's fallen. She used to be really good, with starter items, and also when her 3 was like a 70. Like I think you can now die to. I mean, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure you can die to a structure now. With it because the Nemesis shield only heals you if it's a god. So, and I think it only absorbs 70% of the damage now. So if you're 1 HP and you pop your shield on a tower, you can die to it, I'm pretty sure. I haven't tested it, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And overall, I just don't think she does the damage she used to. And her early and clears, like, I think it takes her a long time to get online, just like Bologna. But Bologna has that great, convenient part about being able to box people really hard. I think she's fallen pretty hard. I'd say she's either the very bottom of S minus or she's at like near the top of A plus.
Yep. Yeah, I agree for sure.
It's kind of like a similar situation to Chalk and Agni, to be honest, which we're saying the same thing about a lot of gods, but that's the truth of the game. I mean, that's what balance is. Like, there's going to be a lot of gods mid tier, and even some of the gods mid tier can be very good in the right hands or in the right circumstances. It doesn't mean they're bad gods. It just means overall they're not as good as the other ones.
Yep.
Maybe
But
this is criminal, but it is what it is.
Nema's weird because she goes really like if she's in meta, she goes up like 3 tiers. Like I've had a tier list where she was S plus, I think.
Yeah, no, she has potential. I mean, her kid's fine. It's just sometimes she's great and sometimes she's just good. I don't know. Maybe we'll move it. We'll see. Scylla. Scylla, I know you like Scylla. I like Scylla too. She's pretty good at kiting. She's pretty good at clearing the wave. She's good at buff secure. She honestly doesn't have that many flaws, but I will say it's not the easiest to land all of their abilities consistently. She's not the easiest to play. And also, if they have healing, like a good amount of healing or lifesteal, like I remember I played against Twigs on her, and on her's just not the god you want to go against and to begin with.
No.
But that being said, even if it wasn't an on her, he had Devos, and it felt like even if I hit him with a double combo, which is hard to get both abilities off sometimes against a god like that can jump on you, but even if I hit him with my crush and my root, my ult wouldn't kill at that stage, and then before my stuff comes back up, he's already healed up again. So it's like, I don't know. I want to say she's really good, but
Yeah, she's one of the gods that fell down really hard when they made the health changes way back when. I think she was like when she could just like literally kill you with a 1/2 poly when before like everyone got 30% more health. She was insane, but I think since then she's gone down a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can like it's worthy. I think it's worth mentioning that any of the gods in A plus, again, we might move Kukulkan and Ra. I haven't decided yet, but any of the gods in A plus for the most part, you can get to GM with if you're a good enough player, and like you can win. They're just you're not going to be winning 100% of your games. It's not going to happen. I don't care how good you are. Like you're just not going to. It is what it is. Giannis. Giannis is a crap load of damage. I respect his damage so much, but at the end of the day, yeah.
He's definitely gotten better than he used to be.
He does a lot of damage, man. Like he's very annoying and very safe. I almost want to say he's there, but it's like he does so much damage though. But Iset does damage too.
He's also really safe, and you can't. He's so hard to catch.
Yeah, but it's like
it's
also like, should you be dying to him though? Yeah, he's hard to kill, but should you realistically die to him?
Not really.
Because like we made the argument of Chalk
really well and
Chalk and Soul Kong, like you should just be able to walk away after their poke. Like, shouldn't you just be able to do that with Giannis too?
I think just the fact he's super safe, he clears far away, and you can out secure most people on BDK with ult too. I think he's fine in A plus.
All right, I'm down. I don't really have any harsh opinions about that character, to be honest. I think he does a lot of damage. Osiris. Now, Osiris is not having a great time in recent history, but
nope.
Gooseberries, more clear. They just buffed his 1 to where it goes through the minion wave now, and it clears. So you can level the 1 and now have efficient poke, because that was optimal DPS before. You level the 1, use it off cooldown, get insane poke. You're like a Hebo warrior, you know. Except it's a slightly higher cooldown and way harder to hit and does way less damage. But anyways, they made it to where you can 1 all 6 minions unless the god's body blocking it. Yep, and it does decent little bits of damage. I don't know if it's full damage or not, but it clears okay. Plus Gooseberries. Plus they buffed his 3, making it to where it has an attack speed slow. I think it's 20% attack speed if you're tethered. So there's that. And they buffed his passive, making it to where you know how you got 2% physical mitigation per passive stack and 1% magical? Well, now he gets 2 for both.
I think we have to play him a bit, but I think he's fine S- with all that. I mean, those are pretty huge. Like, I think he could be a competitive S-, because with that, I think he sounds better than most of the gods, if not all, in A+. I think he's definitely better than like Chalk Wukong and Agni.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, is I'm comparing him to these gods, and I think he should be pretty much every single character here, if not just have an incredibly competitive game.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, literally every single character here. Late game Arachne, might be able to do something. I don't know. But I think he beats every single character here. Maybe Nemesis runs him for his money. But yeah, I think he beats every single character there. The biggest problem with them, and the reason why he fell is because I had an aneurysm there. The reason why he fell is because he had no more mannequins, no more wave clear, no more buff clear.
Yeah.
But Golden Blade still exists, I suppose, and Gooseberries, which makes it to where like some of these gods that went Golden Blade before because you needed it. Now, granted, you get Golden Blade before you get Gooseberries, but not by that much. So I would argue that you could just go Transcendence or Dominance or Aussie or something on these gods and wait for your Gooseberries and kind of clear with that, to be honest. And that gives them more options too. So I think he's good there. Rom. I used to think this god was quite literally like, this was my rating for Rom. Like useless, like terrible. But I have since lost to ROMs and had competitive games against ROMs. And this god is just safe. He's so safe and does so much damage late game. Like any hunter does really, but he's got a decent stem. And so being that safe on a character that has that much damage and being able to auto through walls, that is so impactful. Being able to auto through walls and crit somebody through a wall late game around the red buff corridor or the bull demon area, like, it's so good. It really is so good. But the biggest problem with him is he doesn't really hit that hard early game. I mean, you get Griffin Wing Shard. He's got a pretty decent early. It's just nothing that should stomp you either. But my opinion is that he doesn't have any like ability damage, so gods like Bologna and stuff like that take advantage of him, but that's not that big of a problem. But the biggest one to me, 0 buff secure. And that also means 0 bull demon secure. Like you can't secure them. You just can't. And that's such a big problem for him, I think. But if you make it to late game, he's good. I beat it. Granted, he misplayed a lot. He's too cocky. But I beat a 20-star Bologna with a Masters border that was in GM with Rom.
I mean, I think he's just a worse Apollo, like, or not by much, because he can do some things that Apollo can't. Like he can, like his ult's just better than Apollo's, I think.
Yeah.
But Apollo has the buff secure, and his boxing is going to be better most of the game, if not all of it.
Well, I don't know, because Apollo's ult is clunky, but they took a little bit of the clunkiness out. But to be fair, being able to back and then be like, oh, you can't go for red buff now, or you can't go for Bull Demon now because
Yeah,
you know I'm going to ult
true.
you. Just the pressure of that ultimate. I'm not even talking about killing people with it, because you might not. I'm just saying that people have to be scared.
Yeah.
I think Rama is A+, like he's an average character, but
I think he's one of the higher A pluses, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's A+. I don't think you can put him S- with those characters.
basically every character in A+ is a top A+ character, just to be clear, guys. That's where
I'm
we're
trying to
going with
wonder
that.
if Art should be A+.
Maybe. I don't know. I still just say we wait until the end to make it the fastest for the most time, because
Yeah.
we don't have that much time, so we gotta do this. All right, Circuit. I don't even want to bother talking about this character forever. Terrible wave clear. I mean, okay, she has a cleave, and her one's not that bad if you group
She's
them.
a lot better than she used to be.
She is. I agree. She crits pretty hard now. She has an inherent crit. I don't know. Maybe it is a crime to put her here, because I think she would destroy these guys. To be honest,
I think she's probably A+. Her clear pass, like you get her like level 5 or 6, is kind of decent, and she's also still does circuit things where she, depending on the matchup, she can just W key you. Like she plays like same way like a Cyrus does, like fuck the wave, I'm gonna just full kit on you, then go on wave.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I might put them back in A+, but this just makes it easier for me. I just have a hard time. Like these characters should all beat. Like most of these characters should beat Kukulkan and Ra. I think we overvalued them in the beginning.
Yeah.
I do think they're good, but only when you're comparing them. Like, because if you call them bottom tier mages, it's like, no, they're not. There are mages worse than these guys, and I think that's the only credit we really give them. Is that there definitely are mages worse than them, but that doesn't make them good either. Well, we'll see. Ao Kuang, this character is insane. I play this character every single day. I love this character. He's one of my favorites. He's super fun, has a lot of outplay potential. He's just like Hades, in my opinion, not necessarily play style, but in the sense of anybody can play Ao Kuang. He is brain dead, but that is not to say that good players don't make Ao Kuang look 10 times better. Like there is so much flashy, cool plays you can do with him, and overall he's just very, very good and has a high skill ceiling. But he's also very easy for the average player to pick up. Besides the fact that he's a melee, that's the only downside. He's melee, and people have a hard time with that. But other than that, Ao Kuang's perfect. I love Ao Kuang. I think he's great. Infinite cooldowns, incredible, overpowered burst damage. Execute is always going to be viable, even though it's a clunky ability, but whatever. Do you have any thoughts on Ao Kuang?
No, I think he's really, really good. I think ever since they revamped or reworked his passive, that like fixed all the issues he had. Whether he gets CDR and health from it, is that what it is?
Oh yeah, CDR and a heal.
Yeah, yeah, those are like the only problems that I had with him before that. I think he does pretty much everything outside of having like range autos, obviously.
Yeah, no,
I guess his clear could be a little better, but it's really not that bad.
He also has a Fenrir effect, I think, with the clear thing, where it's like his clear isn't anything spectacular. It's not bad, but it's not spectacular either. But he also has this thing where people are just scared to even be near him, so he can kind of just auto the wave freely. like in a matchup where Fenrir gets a good early game jump on you and he beats you up early and you're low, you're just scared. Fenrir's clear isn't good, but you're kind of scared to get jumped on, so you're just letting him clear for free. That's kind of how Ao Kuang feels to me. Nox. She silences people.
Ego beads and she loses.
Very hard to play. No God in Smite is hard to play, but harder to play. Inconsistent. Even when you do land all of your abilities, she's still not good. But that's the kicker. She's almost impossible to consistently land every ability on. But even if you did, she's still bad. So I do think she can have some pretty decent matchups into certain mages, to be honest. I think she actually can swing against some other mages, but like if you go against any auto attack god, especially like ranged ones like hunters, it's over. Also, I'm not even saying she beats mages in general. I'm just saying she can beat some of them for sure. But yeah, I think she's either like the bottom of A or the top of I don't know. Afro might be better than this god actually.
Her ult's just also not good. Anyone with a jump, she's not hitting it. Just
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. And they nerfed it too. I don't know if you even knew about that. It used to be like 50, it was either 50 or 40% damage reduction, and now I think it's only 20, maybe 30, but I'm pretty sure it went from 40 to 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But anyways, Oelix, a lot of outplay potential, high skill ceiling, very fun to play, very cool, very flashy. Has to put herself out there to clear the wave unless you're willing to level the 3, and then you just have no damage. She did just get buffed. Her ult now has a 50% attack speed, a steroid at the beginning. It used to be 30 and scaled up to 70. Now it's 50 and scales up to 70. She has a lot of immunities, knock-up immunity, root immunity, all that stuff. Pretty sure. And so she actually, I almost lost when I was playing Vulcan the other day because it was Radial and he went blink and hasten sprint and would just blink on me and ult, and I couldn't knock him up and he was hastened, and what do? Well, I won because first of all, he was lagging. And second of all, I went double defense, and the second defense item was Mantle of Discord, which stunned him off me, and that's how I won. But what I'm trying to get at is I think this character is good, but I mean, she's okay. This character's not bad enough to be down here with these guys, in my opinion, but she's not good either.
I think she's really easy. Yeah, I've almost lost a couple of Lulix games just not respecting her. She does a lot more than I always remember.
Yeah, her late game's just so good because she has so many steroids, so many stims on her ult,
Yeah,
and also her passives. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but if she starts the fight, if she's the one who does damage first, she gets like 25 or 30% physical power buff, something crazy like that.
Wow.
On her passive. Like, that's why sometimes she does more damage than other times, is because, well, did you hit her first or did she hit you first? And she'll do a lot more damage that way. Yeah, but, and also, just to be clear again, we've kind of mentioned this before, but A+ gods, all these gods have potential, man. You can win on all of these gods, but that doesn't make them good. It is what it is. Houyi, I think Houyi is here. I think he has one of the best steroids in the game, arguably, being on his 2. I think he was here years ago, and they buffed him and buffed him and buffed him since. They made his crow do more damage. It has a bigger number on whatever the scaling it is on it. It's like 7% now, 8% more damage on the 2. And also they buffed the cooldown. It used to be 18 seconds. Now it's like, it's either like 18 that scales down to 14 or like 16 that's
that, yeah. 14, right.
Something like that. But yeah, also a blind squirrel eventually finds a nut, whatever. Like, no matter how bad you are at Houyi, that you will win a game eventually by just getting a lucky bounce late game and then picking up the dual orb and running it down.
Oh yeah.
Like he's a hard character to master. I'm not trying to pretend like Houyi is easy, but I will say you have the RNG effect of even the worst player in Smite history, okay, can get a kill with a triple bounce. They can do it. Like, it's not that hard on the dual map and around the red buff and around the BDK and all that stuff. Bologna, I think this god is terrible. I hate this god. I think she's boring. I don't like playing her. I hate everything about her. I also think she's super matchup dependent, but I can't actually put her as low as I want her to because there are so many matchups, even higher tier matchups, that she just outright wins. But again, like I said, there's so many matchups where she just loses. And the reason why I hate her when you're winning is because usually Bologna, if she's winning the matchup, she wins it so hard that all it does is inspire them to not fight you and try to run away. And Bologna has no lockdown. She's a little slow on her 1, and in a 1 second or 1.5 second stun on her ult that isn't even the easiest thing in the world to land consistently. And like you're forced to go hastened. And like if you're going Golden Blade and hastened and playing a god like Bologna, like you don't do any damage. It's horrible. I hate it. I think this god's bad. But I don't think you can rate her any lower than this.
Especially since they removed Eggable, I think that ruined a lot of the early game momentum she had. I think she's really only good if you can get 5 or 6 items on.
Yeah. Like, my problem is even the matchups she wins, you're still just like farming up to late game like you're a mage or something. Like, yeah, you can't fight me, Mr. Rama, but see you in 20 minutes anyways. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's
Her
lame.
base damage is just so low. Like
Yeah, it's terrible.
I don't know. It's not even. I guess it is low. Her two's really her only
Yeah, her
decent.
2
Like,
is the only thing that does decent damage. And even then, it's still just decent, first of all. And also, it
yeah.
gets interrupted a million times. There's so many matchups where you level the 3 instead of the 2. Because the whip, the disarm's just good in the matchup, but also because the 2 gets interrupted. So,
Yep.
all right, Medusa. Medusa has fallen a lot, but I still think she's good. She's a hunter. She does a lot of burst damage. Somewhat relatively safe with CC immunity, and she has a dash, well, knock-up immune dash at that, but it can be blocked.
Do you think she's worse than AMC? I don't know.
I mean, overall, yes, but in the actual matchup, I think Medusa can win the matchup for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I
haven't played
think
in a while.
the argument might just come back to putting AMC in S-, not so much putting Medusa in S.
Yeah, I agree.
But at the same time, I don't know. Neith, Kronos, Freya. I feel like Medusa is competitive against all those gods, but I don't think she wins though necessarily.
No,
I don't think she does. I think she can potentially get some cheeky early game kills against Kronos and Freya, but I don't think she wins. So again, I think the argument's more on AMC than her.
Yeah, I agree.
Upwash, bad god. He's pretty bad.
Trash.
But you know, you can go tablet or whatever. You know,
probably A.
Yeah, I'd say A. Like, I did release a video recently saying he's not that bad, and to be fair, it's not clickbait. I wasn't lying. He isn't that bad in the sense of, like, it depends on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at him like you shouldn't pick that god, he's practically getting Kepri, like you're not gonna get a win. Like, no, he's not that bad. You can win without Posh. I've won many games without Posh. The dual player base is terrible. But yeah, that doesn't make him good. That just means he's not unplayable.
Yeah.
Rat, I give Rat a lot of respect because he's got the crit acorn. He's got a lot of burst damage. He's nice, but he's probably on par with these characters. Decent clear.
He just doesn't do a lot.
I think he's perfectly balanced, to be honest. I don't think this character, like, speaking from dual POV, and obviously they don't balance around dual, of course, but even if they were, I don't think they should buff Rat. I think he's in a fine spot. Like, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with Rat. He's not a top pick, but he's fine. You can play him and get some dubs for sure. Like, even against higher tier, like, of course, because we're always going to come back to this, people suck and you can outplay them. But, like, even, like, you know, if you're a diamond player who's really, you know, knows their Ratatasker versus a plat Freya, you could probably win, you know? Like, Rat has potential for sure. Robin. Now, this god has fallen a little bit because they finally, you know, nerfed his shield a bit
he's still really good.
And stuff, but he is
I'd
still
probably put
really
him S, just off the rip.
All right, let's compare to these guys. He can beat Vulcan. Honestly, you might be right. I think he not necessarily beats all of these characters, because some of them I actually think he loses to, but he does beat a lot of them, and he goes competitive with all. And all. Let's look at these guys.
Outside of like Hui on her, I think he's pretty competitive with most of the he has a lot of wiggle room.
He can beat these guys, besides maybe Freya. And also, technically, I did beat a pretty good Robin player the other day on Kronos, but I did it by, first of all, playing pretty safe and I lost really hard until late game, but I ended up going Breastplate and Berserkers, and I found out that's how you can win that matchup. Like, definitely you can win. But the point is the fact that I have to go double defense and play so safe and put so much brain power into it, and just, he's good, man. Robin's good.
Yeah.
Also, Kronos has just always been a good dual god. So the fact that Kronos has to cower and fear and double defense and play like a god, you gotta put some respect on Robin. He's good. But some matchups you do have to play humble in the early game. Some, not all. Some matchups like that they just instantly, like Poseidon, for example. I'd say Robin can beat a Poseidon, to a certain degree. But your early game is still terrible. Like, Poseidon's going to out-clear you, and he's going to even out-DPS you with his trident early game. You got to farm a bit. He's not super straightforward in the early, but, depending on the matchup. Soul. I don't think Soul's very good. I think she's very average. I think a Rat is better than Soul, to be honest. She does good tower damage. She has good sustain. She's very hard to kill. But she just doesn't have that oomph for killing people. It's kind of like Rom, except she obviously has more burst damage than Rom. But I just don't feel like she kills people, man. You just walk away from a Soul. I don't know.
Yeah, I fought fought T-Souls a lot lately, and I mean, he definitely doesn't play it correctly. Sorry, T-Souls. But it was just early game. That's it. As long as you respect her early, yeah, like you said, run away. She can't do anything.
You run
Most
away and
gods just end
then
up outscaling her late.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Most gods, if you're losing late, you just run away and then eventually you win. It's kind of like going against an Anubis, except Anubis does way more damage than her, and also has a hard crowd control. And no, I'm not counting her little tiny bloop knockup on her ult as hard crowd control. I don't care if it pops Magi's or not. That's not hard crowd control. I don't care. Chiron. Chiron is good. I like Chiron.
He's good. No, yeah, he's.
I'm gonna throw him here because he's but because I want to compare it first. For before I compare though, he has great wave clear. He's one of the fastest gods in the game. Pro tip: if you didn't know that, I complain about it all the time on my stream. 375 base movement speed is the highest, or is the third highest movement speed in the game. It's tied. Most assassins and gods like Freya have 375. Some assassins have 370. This god has 380 movement speed. I guess because he's a horse. I don't know. 380. He's the only god in the game with 380 base movement speed. The only god. There's only one god that's higher, and it's Mercury. And they even made it. He's the only god with an odd number for a base movement speed. And why is it odd? Because they wanted to make him the fastest god in the game because that's his lore or whatever. He's the messenger. He's really fast. So long story short, they wanted to make Mercury the fastest, but they didn't want to make him have, be too much faster. So they made him 381. He is 1 point faster than Chiron.
I didn't know that.
Now, obviously, Mercury is going to be faster because he gets movement speed on the 2 and he can buy katanas. So Mercury's faster, duh. But by base stats, he's only 1 point faster than Chiron. 1 point. That's it. And this god does a lot of damage. Very safe. Great. Pretty good into melees because you can throw them back, kind of like the Vamana does, the Wukong does. When you dash through them and you throw them back or you throw them up, whatever. But certain gods can prey on that, like Fenrir, stuff like that. But I'm looking at these other gods, and I think he can go toe to toe. I don't think he wins against most of these gods, but I think he has competitive games against them, though.
Yeah, I think he's better than every god below him.
Yeah, that's the thing, is he's better than these guys. And while I do say he doesn't beat a lot of these guys, but like he doesn't get smoked by them either. Like,
he
obviously
wins
the
a couple of
Bologna.
them. Yeah, they're mostly competitive.
Yeah, like, you might lose, but like, yeah, you didn't feel like there was no hope. Scotty.
Yeah.
Are you ready to move on to Scotty?
Yep, Scotty is, especially with the recent buff she got, I think I think she was already insane. I think her recent buff was
I hate Scotty. I put her in the same category as AMC, but I will admit she is better than AMC. I just put her in the same exact category. But slow immunity permanently on her 3, dog being OP. Like, let's just put her here and then look at the other gods.
yeah.
She can win against this god. Smoked. That's a pretty balanced matchup, although Hui can definitely win for sure because she gets trapped in the ult. But she just, she's slow immune on the ice now. You still get stunned, but I mean, whatever.
Does Scotty still beat Hebo?
Yes, I just did that on stream actually the other day against Lamb. Okay. Yeah, he not that he didn't believe me, but he wasn't fully convinced either, so we did it on stream, and I fed him because I was just playing bad. It was near the end of my stream, and I don't play Scotty. I gave him 2 early game kills to his horn shard, and ended up going double defense and just killing him with the dog anyways, late game.
Wow.
Like, it just, he's just done. But okay, so these gods, I think a lot of these beat her, to be honest, but she's still competitive. I don't know. She might be here. She might not. I don't know. What do you think? Because I'm so biased. I think this character, because like the gods I play smoke this god. I still ban her though. I should probably mention
I think she's
that.
also one of those characters where I think she's a lot like Holly. Like she's like one of the of the top tiers. One of the you need to know positioning on her because she doesn't have a jump or anything. I want to put her in S+, but I don't think she really fits.
Let's just compare it to these guys. Does she beat everyone here? I mean, she beats Freya. She probably beats Neith. Kronos. I mean, yeah, I think she beats Kronos. AMC.
Yeah, I think she beats all of them.
I think she beats all of them too, besides maybe like a really good Robin. But like, I think she beats them, man.
She's
So
also can be Uller. That's a pretty even matchup.
yeah, and that's like a scary thought in itself. So all right, I'm with Tarasu because again we only have an hour left. Got to pay attention to the time. For anybody who didn't listen to my intro and is for whatever reason listening to me right now, Riley, you have to go to school or what is it, right? You have class at 11 or something like that. Yeah, so we are on a time schedule, which is fine though, because some people might say, well, then just reschedule it for a different time. Well, there might not be another time, but also because we don't want this video to be super long anyways. It's not that big of a deal. So Amaterasu. I used to think she was so good that she's potentially here. But I've actually had very competitive games and actually even lost to a Hercules, this Ama, and it's kind of humbled me a little bit. I still think she's very good. Oh, she just got buffed though. She
did pretty big.
Yeah, I think she heals for 4 seconds. I'm not sure, but whenever she heals for the duration of the heals, she gets up to at max rank 35% attack speed during it. So if you put a vital amplifier on that, the vital amplifier, if you didn't know, is 50% attack speed. So just her one and vital, if you press your one, because you need the one to activate vital amplifier too, just the one alone and vital is like what, 85% attack speed?
Yep.
Like,
that's nuts.
She's good, man. Like, let's put her here and then compare. Like, she loses to Bellona.
I think she's just a tier under of Herc. I think that's a pretty fair way to go about it too.
Yeah, because her and Herc, while they're not necessarily the same god, they do have somewhat. They are pretty comparable.
They play very similar.
Yeah, I think she's good, man. Especially with the buff. I think there's very well good potential that she was here. In fact, she probably is here without Vital Amplifier and without the buff. But we have those, so.
Yep.
It is what it is. This god got buffed a lot. Haven't got to try the buffs yet. Not willing to do an Arachne thing and say that he's super good. I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, I want to say I want to say he's here, but he did get buffed, and so he could be A+.
Yeah, he's A. There's no shot he isn't. He's just
looking at all these guys.
The buff's pretty big, but he's still just gonna lose the same shit. I don't think he wins matchups because of it now.
Yeah, I agree. I actually lost like 2 games in the past couple months trying that god. It's not a good time. Jingwei, I think she's super, super safe. Yeah, she's a hunter who's safe. Kind of just like Rom.
She's good.
Let's see. I think my initial thoughts are S-. I think she's just good. She just hits just hard enough, incredibly safe. That's all you really need on a hunter to be good.
Only hunter with crit.
Yep, and her kit. All right, so
passive's actually really useful in this map.
She can win, can't win, arguably. She can win, although it's still a close matchup. She can win. I mean, I think she's at S-, bro. Like, I think she can win against a lot of these gods, or at least be competitive.
I think she's just good.
Susanoo, as I call him.
Way worse than he used to be. God, I wish this guy was playable. I think he's so fun.
Yeah, he did get nerfed for sure. Like, he was running the conch scene, but even when he was running the conch scene, he wasn't still spectacular in Duel. He was okay, but he got nerfed since then.
I think he's A. I think Rat and them are just better than him.
Really? Like, what about some matchups into certain mages? Like, you don't think Susanoo could ever? I'm not saying he should win, but like, do you think a Susanoo could ever beat a Poseidon, for example? I feel like the second he wisens up and get. Well, like, the second Poseidon gets Berserker Shield or something, but that's double defense in itself. I don't know. I think he's A+. I don't think he's that bad.
Yeah, I changed my mind. He definitely beats. I think he's definitely better than Hun Batz right now.
Because, like, you're going to say, Susanoo would wipe the floor with all of these gods, bro. Besides, like, maybe Guan. Maybe Guan could beat him because of immunities, and he might even do more damage than Susanoo, to be honest. But, like, yeah, I think, we'll go with that. Erlong Shen.
I love Erlong. I think
Erlong has a lot of potential right now. I think, again, it's one of those shockers because no one plays him. So why would you think he's good? You haven't seen an Erlong since Nam, and the one you did see was in Platinum and fed his brains out. So why would he be good? Well, look at his kit. Read his one and read his ult, like his new ult, because they had to lower the healing a bit on it, so they buffed it in another way, and they gave it mitigations, and I think it's like, I don't really feel like checking, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it's like 25, it's like 35% mitigation, 25, something. You know what, we're gonna check, why not? Let's be fair to Erlong. Oh, I'm an assassin.
He gets wait, 21% and is 1 and
And
35% ult.
35% for the ult duration.
So he
and
gets
the ult
56% total.
Yeah, well, mitigation and damage reduction are exactly the same thing, but I do
Oh,
agree.
I mean, yeah,
I do agree though. They're close
it's a
enough.
lot.
Close enough. Yeah, no, he has insane boxing potential, and you know, biggest problems is like not the greatest wave clear ever, but you got Golden Blade, you got Gooseberries. Um, People feel like you have to commit the 3 to clear. You don't. I don't know. The biggest problem is no CC immunity, and he's melee, and not the most straightforward of all time early games. But I think he's good, man. He has a great mid game, a great late game. He's very good. There's no.
I
I
mean,
don't
he
think
also
there's
gets
any reason he should be lower
physical
than
damage in
this.
his 1, life steal, and it's 35% attack speed. Like, he has some of the just most insane stats just given to him for boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would argue that there could even be a situation where he's bottom S, but
Yeah, I agree. He's one of those gods where if the banning phase just goes your way, he's an insane pick.
like, doesn't he just beat most of these gods? Like,
I think, yeah, I think so. Outside maybe 1 or 2 of them.
like, okay, let's look. How weird does this look? Like Freya. He can beat Amma. He can beat Robin. He can beat Freya.
He can beat
Especially
AMC.
like I think he's ass, bro. He might just be ass. Like,
Yeah,
to be
I
honest.
think so. I think you convinced me. I think he is ass.
All right, Nuwa. Nubois. I did a video on her recently, and she got a buff
She's just a
recently.
solid A+, I think.
I was gonna
it's
say
criminal to put her higher.
I probably would have put her in A before I played her and before her buffs. But no, she's solid. She's solid, man. She can win for sure. She's
Her
got
cross shred is pretty like insane on her too. I think that's the
Yeah.
only reason she's.
By the way,
has
ladies and
damage.
gentlemen, Max the 2. You heard it here first. If you haven't seen my video on it, watch the video. I'm telling you, I mean, first of all, you probably just shouldn't play Nuwa in Duel if you're trying to win. But that being said, if you're really convinced you want to play Nuwa and you're still trying to win, max the minions, man. It's so OP. I promise you, it's so good. They do so much damage, and she's pretty safe. It's just the biggest problem with her, I'd say, is the matchup she doesn't win. You know, like when you're in a matchup where, like say you're against the Hebo and his 1 kills your minions and there's nothing you can do about it, and his 1's always up because he's Hebo, you just lose. It's one of those gods that when you're in a matchup that you lose, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how it is. But oh well. Kukulkan. So we're finally onto the Guardians. There's Kuzumbo poking his head out over there. But and where's Ymir? Somewhere around here. But or did we already rank Ymir? Oh no, he's right there. Okay, so they're here, the 4 Guardians right here. So Kukulkan, the reason why we put these Guardians in the tier is because Ymir, just because he's really well known, and also because he's good in general. He's pretty fine. I'd say average / above average character. These characters are actually usable in Duel. Like the ones we decided are the most usable. Anyways, don't really care to debate that, to be honest. They're Guardians at the end of the day. Kukulkan is by far the best one, though, besides some niche matchups with Kuzumbo. Kukulkan's just, this dude might as well be Ao Kuang. Like, he's just a melee mage as far as Duel is concerned. He does a lot of damage. Great wave clear. That's usually the big problem with Guardians, is they have no wave clear early and stuff. He's got great wave clear. Where would you, he also just got buffed. Where would you put him, you think? I think he's either bottom S- or top of A+.
Sorry, I was talking to my niece. Which guardian are you doing first?
Kukulkan. And I said either
Kukulkan.
I said either top of A+ or bottom of S-.
I want to put him in S-, but he might be A+.
Well, let's just look at the other gods in the tier. Like, I mean,
because realistically, if you respect him, I think all those gods should beat him. I think he's more cheese than he.
Yeah, he's kind of a noob slayer a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, I think it's a compliment to. I think it's giving them a good name to put a guardian, a class that we just default through here, into the average category. Like that's a good look.
Yeah,
I think
he's very playable. Like I think A+ is a good spot for him.
Yeah, like if you have a decent matchup and you're a pretty good player, he could be S-. Like he's good. He's good, man. Jing Chen, same thing. Honestly, I would say the same exact thing. Because except he might be a little bit worse. I think he is worse than Kabrakan, but is he worse than Kabrakan in the sense of he has to actually go down a whole tier, or is he just
Oh, I
sharing the
think
tier
the
thing?
opposite. I think if there was a guardian, to put an S minus, he would be the guardian.
Yeah, I don't know about all that because like it does take him a long while to get his full kit off, like to double three, even though you have immunities on the three, so whatever. But like to use your two, if they beads it, you're getting smacked a lot. To use your ult, if they beads that, you're getting smacked for the full duration. Yeah, I don't think he's S minus. There's no way. But like obviously for your tier list and your stream, you can definitely put him up there. But for me, I
I'll
think
pop him A plus. I'll move it later if I want.
yeah, I think he's just A plus. I think it's the same thing with Kabrakan. He has a little bit less, a little bit worse early game clear, but he's very safe. He's actually safer than Kabrakan. That's the thing. Kabrakan is easier and has better wave clear and, in my opinion, more damage. At least in the early and mid game, he does. But the difference is Xing doesn't die. Kabrakan can die. He definitely can die for sure. He has no mobility pretty much because you're going to be
Yeah,
using your
Jing is
one to do
hard to
damage.
kill.
Yeah, Jing's very hard. Also, Jing's got that benefit of when you're into hunters or even melee. I mean, I guess it's not just hunters. Any auto attacker, really, you can lower their damage, so that's good. I'd say he's a comfortable A plus, which we got a fat list in A plus, but I think that's fine. I mean, this is just average characters.
His passive is also kind of nutty. Like the HP 5 he gets from his passive is absurd.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's fine
Yeah,
where he is.
I think
IMO.
he's good there.
Izanami. I don't think there's ever a universe where this character will ever be average. I don't think she's great. I really don't. But I don't think she's definitely above average for sure. She's got a great penetration passive. She's got a great stem. She's got a great early game wave clear. She's safe
Great
with
ult.
the. She's safe. Like, don't get me wrong, her 3 is really slow and kind of easy to know where she's going, but at the same time, it's a stealth at the end of the day. So I mean, it's a stealth and it's a jump. Yeah, and her ult, while I don't love her ult. Like, I don't think it's amazing overall, but at the same time, I would be crazy to say that having like an over, like, I think it's either 2 or maybe even higher than 2 second CD silence, like, that's the difference of whether, like, when Wukong's 60% health and you silence him, you can kill him in that threshold before he can ult, kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, silence is massive for sure. I just don't like that it's not like a CC that makes him stand still. You know, it feels bad in that regard. But not being able to cast spells is obviously very not good for you. Like you want to be able to cast your stuff defensively and offensively, CC them.
I think the only thing that's stopping her from being like S or even S plus is her 3. If they gave her 3 like on her treatment and it like went twice as fast or something, I think that would fix all her problems.
I mean, I don't know if it'd fix all, but I agree. It would help her out a lot.
I mean, she's great. She's great steroid. I mean, great steroid in her ult is gonna win her most 1v1 fights.
My thing is the reason why I don't put her up is because, and you're right, she has a great like stand your ground fight, and I don't want to not say that. She is good at standing her ground, but there are sometimes you can't stand your ground. And in those situations, if the stealth jump doesn't work, she has a slow and she has a silence, neither of which get people off of you realistically. Like when you're stuck, you're stuck. The end.
Yeah.
But she does have a great turn and burn, so you can't completely fault her for getting stuck because, well, if she gets stuck and then just kills you anyways, who cares? I mean, it's fine or whatever, but that's why she's not higher for me. Kamazots, really high skill ceiling. One of my favorite
Very good
characters.
character.
Love him.
Yeah, I love Kama.
Initially, like, I mean, honestly, before I rank him too seriously, I just want to say there's almost nothing wrong with this character besides he's melee. You know, people have a hard time dealing with melee characters, and he has not one but 2 skill shots that aren't brain dead to land. So he's very high skill ceiling, or no, I mean, not even skill ceiling. That too, but he's not the easiest god for you to just to pick up if you're like an average player. But overall, I think he's very good. You know, when you master him, he's very good. His biggest problems is he's melee and his clear can be blocked. Like most people, you want to level the 1 on him, and while he does have an AoE cleave on his 3rd attack or whatever, still at the end of the day, you can just stand in the melee, stand in front of the melees and block his clear. Kind of, you know, that's a big problem for his early game. But overall, I think he's very good. I think he's S or S minus. Which one are you leaning towards?
I think it's S. I think
I'm looking at these gods.
he has
And
that benefit of Hades where you can full kit ult use his ult, and then when he comes down, he's almost ready to full kit again.
Like, doesn't he beat like literally every single character here, debatably?
Yeah, I think so. And
Debatably,
then he
anyways.
has a lot of good fights in the S+.
Yeah.
I think there's a world you could put him in S+, like, or he's close to it.
Yeah, let's see. Her I just have such a hard time, which I know we can't base it fully on it, but that doesn't mean I don't want to consider it at all. Bro, this god is so much harder to play than those gods. Like, it's so much easier to mess up on, I guess I should say.
I mean, you've missed it too. It's like Thana, but not quite as punishing.
Yeah, because he has a jump in as well. Like, it's way safer than Thana, but I do agree it is the same idea though, where you just like you don't necessarily die because you missed the 2, but you don't kill him, and if you don't kill him, well, you can't proceed to kill their objectives. Yeah, I think character is very good. Thoth. I don't really want to talk about Thoth too much. Don't play Thoth in Duel. He just doesn't have great burst damage. He just tickles you over time. He's very boring in my opinion, but I mean, this is just not a dual character. He's an artillery mage. He's supposed to stand behind his tanks, and he's supposed to blast people from afar. I will say he has some decent matchups into other mages where, like, he can outrange them and stuff. But then, you know, what if they go blink, and then they're on top of you? And he just, the thing is what do you do? Even a Ra, okay? Imagine a Ra with blink. What do you do against a Ra where you didn't get any poke damage off? You're both full HP, and Ra blinks on you. Or like forces your dash and like you just catch him for some reason. The point is you're both on top of each other, full HP. He just doesn't do more damage than Ra. His burst damage, like, you know, his, oh no, I'm in danger, let me get this guy off of me strategy is just non-existent. It's not there. His only burst is his
90% plus of the gods due to blink.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have any turn and burn. Like, the Izanami, like, oh, I'm stuck, I better just try to kill him. He doesn't have that. His 1 does literally no damage if you just hit 3 of them, and that's it. You got to poke with it initially. And then his ult is good burst damage, sure, but you have to charge it for 10 seconds. So I would say that, you know, the charge time makes the damage not as good. So yeah, I mean, I just think he's bad. I think he's almost this bad. I don't know. What do you think between these two?
I would put, oh wait, A or A minus. Oh, A. I think he's still playable-ish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's like.
I mean, he probably beats these guys.
Actually,
probably.
I have no. I think A minus actually. This god's so bad.
He is bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe Nox could beat him. If she gets close enough. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if these 3 gods can beat him or not, but I know that he's bad. I know that. Like a Blink Outwash. Like, realistically, I feel like Blink Outwash would own. Yeah.
Anything with Blink.
Also, I said I didn't want to talk about Thoth that much, and then we talk a whole bunch about Thoth. Okay, anyways. Nike. Not a dual character. It's not that she doesn't have any potential. The biggest problem for me is because honestly, if you go attack speed Nike and then you pop your ult and you blast them, you know, that sounds like a great time and all, but Sunder. They can just sunder it, and then you no longer. The biggest advantage of attack speed Nike, in my opinion, which I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying it'd be cool to go attack speed Nike, and the big advantage of it would be kind of like Odin. You have a shield, and then you beat him up while your shield's on you. Well, they just remove your shield, and it's an ultimate, not an Odin 2. That's why I say Sunder isn't as good into Odin, is because, yeah, it kills his shield, but Odin doesn't need his shield as bad as Nike. Also, even if he does, it's up 10 times as fast. So, you know, it is, I don't know. I think she's in the steer. I think she's average. I don't think she's as bad as these gods. I think she could win against some of them.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think she loses a single matchup here.
I think she's definitely playable. She has like damage and good clear, but that's about it. Like she doesn't have an ult.
Alright, so the Morrigan is the best god in the game. Don't
fuck this character, dude.
Dude, don't pick this character against me, because I will rage and cry. And, you know, if that's your goal, then just simply don't make it your goal. I hate her. Yeah. She obviously is an SS, but I'm gonna go with this one, which when I'm being entirely consistent, you know, I'm trying to take everything into consideration. But for this one in particular, I'm gonna go with assuming that it's a good player playing her how she's supposed to be played, which is like a coward under your tower, only fighting when your ult's up, poking with your 2, using your AoE auto. Like, I honestly, it frustrates me just talking about this character, and I understand this is weird for a tier list to say this because you're supposed to explain things, but I don't even want to talk about that much. If like, she does 1,000,000 damage and is incredibly safe and shouldn't exist in the game, and I hate her, and I lose to her all the time, and I hate her, and I think that she's like, if played correctly, she's S plus, but like for most people, I don't know, maybe S. Maybe you have a completely different opinion. You think she's like S minus or something. What do you think?
I think she's S or S plus. I think I think it might be cringe to do this, but I think she genuinely should be banned from Duel. I think she completely like being a god plus more kind of like ruins the whole point of 1v1
Yeah.
fights. I think.
Because it's not even like she's an old bot. Everybody says she's an old bot, and I agree. You probably shouldn't fight too much while your ult's down. But like, bro, the Morgan herself, when you buy Poly and you spam your 2, when you have full cooldown, which they all rush cooldown, you have a 2 every like 4, 5, 6 seconds or something, and then you have a Poly every time too. And like in her 1, like she does a lot of damage. Like she can half health you before transforming.
Yeah, it's so lame.
Like,
I mean, she just the only thing she doesn't have is a jump really. I guess her clear early. Clear early is good if you use your passive correctly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, she's just good. She has everything and more.
So, all right, let's look at this. So these matchups. I mean, I think she has potential to win just about any matchup in the game, but realistically, how easy is it to win against
Realistically,
these
she's
guys?
probably S because technically they should all beat her. But
I think all these gods do very well into her for sure,
yeah,
but that's not to say she can't beat the gods above her because she
no,
can.
she can beat anyone in the game.
Yeah, and of course, you know, duh, any god can beat any god. But I'm just saying, like, even if they're higher tier players to a certain degree, I think you know Morgan stands a really good chance. Ymir, again, for the process of speeding up the tier list a little bit because you got to go, but also because everyone knows what Ymir does, man. He's been around since, you know, the early stage. He's been around since Duel's been around, and everyone knows about Ymir and Duel. He's a solid character. He's good with Poly. He has a long CC, good burst damage on the old, you know, low cooldown too. If you can land it consistently, you're a demon. But at the end of the day, I still think he's just average.
Yeah, I don't think I used to put him in S minus or S, but
He's
ever
just really
since
slow
again
and
the health
predictable.
changes and the no starters, he just doesn't he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't do what he did.
Predictable kit, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Kuzumbo.
beads kills him.
Kuzumbo is kind of like Bologna in the sense of when he does a certain job and that job is countering auto attack. I mean, not auto, countering melees and then also some auto attack characters. Like he can beat a lot of hunters too, but not necessarily that he should, especially if they just go double defense or something like that. You know, whatever. So what I'm saying is he can be S plus in the right matchup for sure. He can be S plus, but I think that he's just gonna be. I don't know. I really want to put him at the bottom of S minus, but I feel like that's criminal. I think all these Guardians have a
I
similar
think he's A
story.
plus. I think you could again, uh, back when starters in the game, I think he was better,
Yeah,
but
for
you
sure.
just same with Chalk and someone calling you respect him and you can't do his job.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, it seems kind of lame just throwing them all there, but the truth is, I mean, they are just average characters. But that's good for a Guardian. Like being an average dual god as a Guardian is an accomplishment in
Yeah,
itself.
that's great.
Cernunnos. I think Cernunnos has fallen a bit, but he's still very good.
He's still very
I
good.
would say similar
He's
to
at
Iza.
least S minus.
I would say he's Iza tier for sure. There's no way
Yeah,
this is an average character.
I think he's a bit better than Iza, but I don't think he's enough to
Yeah.
be S.
Cripple on his.
No, I think he's better than AMC. I think AMC should just be S minus. But we can go to that.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. I think I'm going with you too. I might, even though I'm not categorizing them in order, I might just end up throwing them like there or something, you know. But anyways, the point is no way Cern's average. Great clear, great burst damage, great CC, great sustain. You know, just not much wrong with him. No CC immunity, no attack speed steroid. You know, not much wrong with him. He's pretty good. Dalji, pretty bad. She has to commit herself. I will admit this character does chunk. She does damage, but that's all she really does. She doesn't have great clear unless you're putting yourself out there like Loki does, except she's worse at getting away than Loki. And The ult is just kind of weird. Like I don't even know how to describe her ult. Like it usually, like I feel like the ult never does what you want it to do. Like I don't know. Even when you pull them, you're usually not going to kill them because your god's just bad. And then the other times you're not going to pull them because you miss because it's not the easiest thing in the world to hit, or because they have an immunity. Like I don't know. I think she's bad. I don't think she's A minus though. She would destroy these gods, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe Afro could beat her. But I don't know. Like, what do you think? A or A minus?
Um, I just don't. Her clear is bad. Her ult's predictable and easy to avoid if you have a jump.
No.
She has to use her escape to go on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just A or A
Yeah.
minus. I don't want to talk too much on Dodgy because
Yeah, probably A. I think no, A minus. I think she's worse than bots.
Well, what about these other like? What about the characters in A? Do you think she loses to them?
Yeah, I think so. To be honest,
You know,
I
I'm
think
just
she
gonna
just
go
gets
with you because I don't give a crap about Dodgy. To be
I mean, it's
honest.
such a small difference.
Yeah. Like, oh, what's the god? Bad or bad? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Kukulkan, average. I think it's criminal to put him down here with this because he does have a ton of damage in his kits. Like a ton. I think I will end up like near the end up moving some stuff down to A because you know this is looking a little. But I mean this is supposed to be the biggest category. It's average. That's at least that's the way I labeled it, anyways. But even with that being said, I still think I'll throw some people down there. But Cullen, a lot of damage. Pretty predictable gameplay though. You know, honestly, there's not much wrong with him. There's just not much right either. Like he's not special in any way. He has CC immunity, multiple forms of mobility, decent clear, good damage, but like you know he's just a jack of all trades, but at the same time not all trades a jack. You know, he's a jack of most trades, but he's not great at anything, and he is bad at some things. Like he's just average. I don't know.
It's kind of like fighting Vamana ult, but more often. Like you, like okay, his rage is up. All right, I'm gonna walk away. All right, his rage is down. All right, I'm gonna kill him.
And then even when he does transform, there's so many characters that can just fight him in it anyways and win.
Just fight him. Sunder through his first shield and then just kill him.
Hachimon. I think Hachi's good because he's a hunter at the end of the day.
Really good.
He's safe.
His buffs were huge.
Yeah. His buff did get reverted a little bit though, and they did just nerf him again, making his ult go from a 90-second cooldown to 100. But with even those things, I mean, he's just solid. Like at the end of it, like you know, we're repeating ourselves here because a lot of people share this category where it's like nothing special about them, but they're pretty safe and they're a hunter. So
I think before the nerfs, I think I could have argued S, but yeah, I think he's pretty CERN level now in terms of hunters. I wouldn't say he's like particularly better.
Yeah, but like realistically though, would he beat any of the hunters here? I mean, would he beat any of the gods?
If you just play with his one, I mean he might beat CERN. I think he does beat CERN. He might even beat I don't know. I think so. I think he does win. You just have to play really patient as him.
Yeah, you have to play super smart, super patient. He's not just overall steam worthy. Like some of these gods that are ranked highly because they're brain dead and you just run it down and do whatever you want and you destroy them. Other gods are ranked highly because if you play smart, like you can't do those things, but if you play smart, you can get the same result. It may not be the same pattern of doing it. You know, you may not be able to just face roll, but if you do it correctly, they have the potential to have the same result.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to explain it. Discordia.
Yeah, he's good there. Pretty mid mage. Better than like Opwash, I'd say, but
I think when you're in a decent matchup, you know, sitting in your 3 with a meditation can be
3 can feel with Horde
really
Shard
nice.
too.
Yeah, like she has potential. So Discordia means out there that are thinking us rating her as average is criminal. Again, she has potential. Like she can chunk, she can go hard with the cooldowns, especially if you go a beads or a horn shard or a med and you get cooldown through that. You put a Mirrodin on that bad boy, you ult them, spam cooldowns. It's really strong. She has a lot of potential, but still there's nothing really special about her. I mean, you should probably just pick a higher tier mage.
She's also just really easy to whiff.
Yeah.
To whiff a fight.
It is
So
for
easy.
sure. And her lack of mobility, she does have a jump, but it's really small and predictable, and you
It's
can know where
barely a
she's
jump.
at. Like it's
Honestly,
bare.
the invis is better than the jump.
Yeah, well, the reason why I noted that it's a jump is because technically you can go over the blue buff wall. You know, like you can
Yeah.
you can go somewhere. But anyways, Achilles, we're kind of steamrolling through this a little bit, but I think we're still explaining it fairly well. And you know, we gotta serve some time here. Achilles, I think he's average. I might even be. I mean, I don't know. I think his kit makes me want to put him in A, but at the same time, he does a lot of damage. Like he does do a lot of damage, and his execute got buffed too, which is not huge, but his execute is now 35%. It was 30. I think he's just
Yeah,
average.
I think it's hard not to put in a main plus just for having an execute.
Yeah, execute, tanky, mobility, sustain, does a lot of damage. I mean,
The stats he gets from his passive are insane.
it's nothing crazy special about him besides having an execute, but there's nothing wrong with him either. Like he's fine, and that's kind of how you describe all these gods. Like there's nothing insane about them, but there's nothing wrong with them necessarily
Worst
either.
thing about him is his clear is awkward early. That's about it.
Yeah. Jitterbug. I think this god is a hunter that is safe. And as we've mentioned before, hunters that are safe and hit hard late game because they have good stems do pretty well. Who would have guessed? The problem though is his 1-2 combo is super easy to juke. It's super predictable. His ult is more or less mitigations and a cooldown reset. Like you're not really using it for much
His
more
ult's
than
good.
that. Like yeah, you can
if
also
you
back
hit the
to
1-2
base.
into an ult, it's scary.
The problem is this is another case of I think this god has so much potential, but let's be real. No one's doing that.
No,
Like no one
he's
is.
also just. I mean, he's probably bottom 3 hunters. I think. So it's like if you fight any of the hunters as him, I think you're losing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like you mean like in the whole game or this tier?
No, not the whole game, but like anyone that's like S minus, any hunters S minus to S plus, he's just gonna get dominated on.
I want to say he's A plus, but like the top of it, but it almost feels criminal because he does have potential, man. It's not like he's hopeless.
I think he's top A plus because I think he's a worse hunter than Izza, Cern, and Hachi.
Okay, maybe at the end I'll throw some people like again. I'm not going to categorize this whole tier list by left to right, but maybe for the A plus specifically because there is some decent gaps in A plus. I will throw some people to the top left. Barons. Oh, one thing I should mention is Chernobog's passive hits really hard and his stem is really good. So like at the end of the day, he's just a safe left clicker that left clicks real hard late game. So you have to respect that to a certain degree. Baron Samdi. I think Baron is sick. I love Baron. Not to face Baron. No one loves that.
Yeah,
but I think
he's
good,
really
man.
safe, and he's wait, does this heal? Is it percentage based or is it a damage that's percentage based?
I don't even know. I'll pull it up on the video right now. Baron
flat heal and then missing health heal. Okay.
Oh, so why are you asking me questions if you're just gonna?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Fuck you.
All right.
Yeah, so he's really safe. I don't know. I don't know how to phrase fighting him because he definitely has a lot of losing matchups. But
yeah.
I never. There's not a single god I like fighting him as.
Yeah, no, it feels bad. Like his passive gives him a ton of damage. His 1 is an attack speed, and I think even power slot. I don't remember, but he just has a million debuffs on his 1. His passive increases his damage by like 20% or something. I don't know. You can check it for yourself. He has a real pretty decent cooldown root ability. It does fair damage. His ult makes him take less damage and sucks people up and makes them do a lot of damage. And you can do the classic. A lot of gods do this, but you can do the classic press your 1, 2, 3 in any particular order, and then ult, and then buy some time by turning the other direction or whatever. And then by the time you actually suck them in, your 1, 2, 3 is back up, and you kind of just hope they're dead by then, or they have to run away. I think he's S minus. Honestly, I do. I think he can give Vulcan a very good run for his money. I think he can make these ADCs hate life. I think he can probably beat his job. Like he beats a lot of characters that don't have any mobility, is what I'm saying. Because if you get rooted and you can't avoid the 2-1 combo afterwards, or you also can't jump out of the ult, but that's my big thing is if you get hit by that root, oh, game over for me. I guess I'm just gonna have to back or die because I can't avoid the abilities after I get rooted.
Yeah, it's wild how simple his 3 is, but it either confirms your entire combo or you're forcing their initiate slash escape. So yeah, it's such a dominating ability.
What do you think about Pele, Mr. Riley?
Pele is very good right now. I think she loves the meta currently. I mean, it's always a snowball meta, but she's hard to outsecure. She insta clears wave. She's
She just got
actually feels
buffed.
pretty good late game right now with items.
Hmm. She just got buffed to
Um,
where her ult has 4 charges on the lightning, not 3,
oh, that's
and also
wild.
her ult. Because I didn't even know this, by the way, but apparently her auto attacks do less damage when she does the ult, so that way it's not too
Yeah.
OP because it does extra. Well, you do less damage now. I don't know. Anyways, they made it. It was a 50% reduction, which is a bad
Oh,
thing.
the nerf to autos is decreased.
Yep, they made it. They made it 50% debuff to 40, which is a buff.
Oh, that's I mean that's a lot of damage.
Plus the one, whenever you hit an enemy, which I haven't tested it to be 100% sure, but the one, it says enemy, not God, and you refuel your 3, your passive meter or whatever, like your speed, your
Oh,
gas. It helps you refuel it with
that's
each enemy hit.
huge.
So I don't know because I haven't tested, but like if I'm reading it correctly, I'm pretty sure you can just like use your whole 3 and then won the wave and get like half of it back, if not all of it. I don't know. I haven't tested it, but that's what it sounds like to me. The point is she gets some of her juices, some of her gas back when she uses her one and hits
Yes, I think
enemies.
pre buffs, I'd put her like bottom S minus. I think now she's probably pretty stable S minus
Yeah, I think
just
I
off
think
of
she's
that.
S minus. She's good.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Pele. Predictable gameplay, but I mean a lot of gods in Smite have predictable gameplay. To be honest, not a big deal. Speaking of predictable gameplay, Hera.
Ooh, Hera.
Yeah, oof, my mistake. Honestly, I should have said Argus. Yeah. I want to put her A plus because I swear this god is not that good if you just have a brain and you know what to build and pick a good god. But at the same time, I lost as Zhong the other day, and I almost lost as Vulcan versus the Hera because I was playing bad and I was tilted. But the point is, just like this god is so brain dead easy, man, and she has good clear. Argus is never on cooldown because of her passive. You can build double defense. You can go Sunder against her, but there's still a pretty decent chance if she goes double defense, she can just survive anyways and get another shield, especially if you don't land all your stuff. Because Riley, you got to remember at the end of the day, not everybody watching is a pro player like us who never ever miss autos or abilities or Sunders. And what happens if you're on her against Hera and you jump in, you sunder her, and then miss the impale and only hit 4 spears of your ult, like you're gonna die probably. So it's like,
Even
like
on her, I did the matchup recently. It's a lot closer than you would think.
yeah,
Like it's so easy to whiff into Hera.
yeah,
Um,
because the movement speed on the
yeah, if
shield
they
is criminal
ever
too.
removed Sunder or like the shield from DB Glyph,
Hmm.
she'd be she might be S. I think she's actually really good. That's the only reason she's an S minus. I think she's a really really good character. Argus is just so good.
Yeah, because it's not even just Argus either. Like honestly, all of her, like her one's nothing more than a fair little poke ability, I guess. But like her 2 and her 3 are very strong abilities, like very strong. No DR on the polymorph, like silly man. You go med upgrade, you go beads. It's
Yeah,
silly. I think she's good. S minus. King Arthur. I do not want to spend a lot of time
this
talking about King
character's
Arthur.
so bad.
King Arthur can't clear. He can't even use the dual orb. Last time I checked, because he doesn't proc item effects, and the dual orb is an item effect, I suppose. You can't kill the towers. He has decent PvP potential. Like I've had games, people God request King Arthur in my stream, and I've had games where I'm against a Kronos and I kill him 6 times. Well, guess what? I still lost. Like you can fight with this god, but he's just not good at winning. He's just not good at winning. So yeah, any
Yeah.
arguments on A?
No, I was gonna say because I've said this before. He goes up like at least 2 tiers if you can build hydras on him. I think that fixes all of his problems if you can go hydras.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
He's so good. Yeah, that's it. He's just not good. He can't do anything that duel wants.
Okay, Merlin. Merlin, I think, is a character I want to be really good and actually pumps
Same.
numbers.
He's so fun. He's one of my favorite mages to play.
is fun, and he has a good late game, man. He definitely does. I forget what the matchup was not too long ago, but I won late game versus a matchup that I never thought I could. I was against a Kronos actually. And granted, it's because this guy wasn't the greatest player in the world, of course, but also because I mean, I just did so much damage in the final fight that I killed him before his ult went off, which is of course his problem. He should have got his ult off. But the point is like Merlin bumps late game. He's good. He's got potential. But does he have? I don't feel like just comparing from mages. I don't feel like Merlin should be in the same tier as Vulcan and Hera. You know what I mean? Like he's just not.
I mean, he has a lot of potential, and if you look at S minus and up, I don't think there's a single character Merlin beats.
Yeah. I mean, but like again, we've said this with all the other A plus characters. Like he's got potential. If you like Merlin and you are okay with losing every now and then, pick Merlin.
Yeah,
He's
you cannot
fine.
play with him for sure.
He's a fair Book of Thoth tablet contender if you want to do that as well. I didn't. I ended up going Bancrofts and stuff, but you definitely could do that if you wanted to. Horus does a lot more damage than I want to respect him for. He does a lot of damage, but I don't think there's any way we can make him go anywhere but average. I don't think he's as bad as these guys. I think he's better than them.
Yeah, I think he's A plus. He has decent clear. He actually has pretty decent fighting potential, and
Yeah.
his ult has kind of some niche scenarios,
Yeah.
and he's kind of hard to lock down because he has a knock up, a stun, and you can 3 away, and ult away. But yeah, I mean, this god, if you respect him, you get like 3 or 4 items online, you start doing damage, and if you get 5 or 6 items online and you have beads, you just kill him through one of his combos.
Yeah. All right, well, we gotta start speeding now because we got 16 minutes. I don't think you're gonna be able to be with me for the process.
I probably got like
changing things
5 or 10 minutes more than I thought, so we have to be like super. We're fine.
Okay. Oh well, that means we can't be slow. We don't have to be super fast, but we can't be slow.
Yeah. Can't take 5 minutes a character.
Okay, Set is very good. Matchup dependent, admittedly. There are some matchups that just sucks. I've lost to an Agnia set before. Don't want to talk about it. Anyways, the point is this character's very good, but I don't think he's good enough to be. I don't think he's good enough to be S plus or anything like that. Like he just loses too many of these matchups. I think a lot of these gods can beat him. Even Poseidon, like if you're a bad Poseidon, Set can run you down 24/7. I've done that a lot. But admittedly, a good Poseidon, especially a double defense Poseidon, could probably beat a Set. Like it's not that difficult to just try him to death, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And this god beats him. This god beats him. This god beats. Like. But
I think most AA mages beat him because his 3 is only physical mitigations.
I think he's a comfortable S. I think he's got pretty much most things you'd want. No CC immunity, but he's got pretty much everything else you'd want. Oh, honestly, just about everything else you'd want. Like he's a pretty balanced character, I'd say. Some people who think he's too good might say his numbers are too high. Maybe it is, but his actual kit and what it does, I think it's balanced. I think he's fine.
No, he's super full committee, but he also is super pokey. Like you playing into a set forces you just to either like you're playing on the set's terms when you fight Set, which is the thing that makes him so good, I think.
Yeah. Ullerun's very good.
Ullerun's insane.
I think there's a good potential. Okay, well, let's put him here and then look at the matchups, right? I don't think he wins most of these matches. I think he makes him competitive because he has better early games than some of them, and he can snowball early game. But I don't think he wins most of these matchups. I think he's more comfortable in S.
Yeah, I think he's a high S. I think all those matchups are competitive. You might even it might even be like 50% matchups for a couple of them. But yeah, in general, I wouldn't say he beats S plus.
Yeah, he's a very good character though for sure. Healing. Great ult, great early game, a very, very, very good
monster.
Early game.
He has one of the best early games. He might have the best early game.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, I mean, I want to see an Oleron and a Hercules actually battle to the death. Like no poking and running away, just battle to the death. Level 3. See who wins. Like he's really good. I mean, Ao Kuang might beat his early game because Ao Kuang's just in a different realm. Yeah. Level 3, but he's up there for sure. Persephone is a lot better than I give her credit for. Like her ult is actually like an execute. I want to put her S minus, I'll be honest, but I don't know if we should, because here's my thing. I think she's bad for S minus, but I think she's so good for A plus. Like I swear, this god pumps numbers, has low cooldowns. If she ults you and you don't have a way out of it, it's like Hades. You beads it and then you die to the next one, unless you have a way out of it or a way to avoid it. But that's the problem is it can be avoided by mobility and stuff. So I don't know.
I think if you're a god mage player, like if Paul's on Persephone or something, she's S minus. But I think most people will she'll feel A or A plus too.
Yeah. Also, I should put it down here. Yep. She's good. She's good though. I like Persephone.
Yeah.
Himdalir, another case of like Kuzumbo Bologna, could be S plus in the right situations. He has some matchups that it's just like you just can't win. You can't beat him in certain matchups against a good Heimdall. But admittedly, you're not always gonna have one of those matchups. So I think he's S or S minus.
I think he's S. I think he hasn't played that often, but I think he's still just so dominating in the matchups he wins, and he wins most of it.
Yeah, because like look, Set he would win. Amma he probably could win. Erlong could win. Kamazot's, that's very debatable. Probably not, but I think he could beat Raven. Debatably, like I think he's competitive here in S.
I think he loses into like the top 3, like the Uller, Huion, her, and then like Holly, Hades, and everyone else is very competitive.
Yeah, like look at these matchups. I don't like how many gods in S minus really beat him hard. Like I think Anubis probably should be. I don't know. Some
I think he
mages.
beats everyone in S minus outside of like maybe like Baron.
Baron's. I was gonna say Baron's actually really annoying for Heim because it's hard to portal with the ult situation.
I'd say Baron or like maybe a perfectly played Apollo could like run him down early game and just get pressure.
Actually, I think Naja beats him. I will say that. I think Naja beats him. I think.
Really?
I don't
know if Magi's Heim has got to be really annoying for him.
Magi is when you throw that in the mix, yeah. But
I think
maybe with Magi's because he is a melee counter, and I would say without Magi's, the melee counterpart is kind of irrelevant though, because Naja's barely even melee. He just sashes you and ults you and throws you in the air, and then you're dead. Like, how's that melee? You're just killing someone. I don't know. You're killing someone from melee distance, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
If the Heim's really reactive into Naja, Magi's a sash, and if you can ult the Naja ult for immunity, Naja just gets dumpstered after that. But yeah, that's probably the.
Oh, also gooseberries, which we said every character in the game who buys gooseberries is gonna have better clear because of gooseberries, duh. But Heim does like to save his 1/2 for poke and clear. Like one, you can use his 1 for like the bonus damage or the vision and stuff. His 1's less important, but you don't want to be 2 in the wave and stuff. And it's not like he has bad clear. He's got some cleave autos, but like you gotta admit, cleave autos with gooseberries, like his clear is gonna be kind of nutty.
Yep.
Mulan.
Mulan, I think is actually kind of decent. She's way better than I thought she was.
Yeah, I think it's got to be one of these 2 tiers. But the thing is like I agree she does a lot of damage, but like realistically, comparatively, which gods does she beat in this tier?
Not a lot. I think she's a high A plus because she. It's like most warriors, man. Outside of Herc, you respect her. You know the fight she's trying to take, and you get your items online, and she loses.
Yeah. Also, just doesn't have a great early game. Like her damage against a god is not bad. Like if you met each other at Bull Demon and fought at level 3,
for sure.
Her damage isn't bad. It's just you got to evaluate her damage and with her ability to clear the wave, etc. And like her cooldowns too. Like for example, if a god can clear the wave and then their cooldowns are right back up and you can use them to fight, that's better. If your god is going to be on cooldown for a while after clearing that wave, that's worse. So I don't think she's that.
And her ult just kind of becomes worse as the game goes on because once you can beat the knockup, she's just taking damage.
Yeah, I mean late game in most matchups, I'd say you use it more for like a dash/CC immunity. You dash through them and then cancel it because they did buffer. You didn't used to be able to cancel that, but now.
I didn't know you can. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, you can cancel it. You can ult through them and then immediately cancel before even doing the knockup.
Okay.
So that's a big buff, I think, but still A plus. Definitely better. Like I think that buff changes where she sits in A plus, but I don't think it changes her tier. Baba Yaga is a grandma and she's peaceful and
SS.
This is for you, Game, but I got you. I don't know. I think she has potential. Same kind of thing as Persephone. She does a lot of damage. She doesn't have an execute
Yeah.
like that, but she does a lot of damage. She's really good wave clear early.
Her ult's
Somewhat,
really oppressing.
yeah, she's somewhat safe with her 3, somewhat because it can be canceled pretty easily. But at the same time, it does have immunity to knockups. And her ult is just, I mean, her ult did just get nerfed. I don't know how effective the nerf was because I didn't care. But the damage on her ult did get nerfed a bit. But like, I don't know, she just has a lot of damage. I beat a tier with her not too long ago. You know, not the best player in the world, but a good enough player. And I felt pretty darn good, man. I was swinging my little potions, and you know, no way she's worse. No way she's like this tier of character.
No, she's definitely better than them. Yeah, I think she's the same though as Persephone.
Yeah. Alrighty. Tsukiyomi. I know you hate going against this character. Like Bastet to me right now,
so
which Bastet might be the same for you as it is me now. But I remember there was a time where you were banning Tsukiyomi, and I was just like, "What? Why would you ever do that?" Like, God, it's not that he's bad. It's just like you can beat him, you know, not a problem. But you were just like, he just annoys me. He gets in my head, which is how I feel about like the Morgan, for example. But I'm on the same train now. I have lost a few times, granted, not in favorable matchups. You know, I win when I'm in good matchups. But like I've had some sticky situations where I'm in like a matchup that doesn't feel great, and it really does just feel like that god's OP. Like he just does so much damage. There's nothing.
It just drives me crazy that he can almost slow you indefinitely with CDR in his 1 and 3.
Yeah, he pretty much can, to be honest. And also, what's crazy to me is his ult too. Like he's safe enough. Like he's good, has a good enough mobility and slows to where he can ult in, make you pop your Aegis, and then just walk away. And then the next time he ults you, like you'll be full HP at max distance from his ult. You know, considerable distance away, full HP. You got no Aegis, he ults you, you're probably dead.
That's half hitting you. Yeah.
You're probably dead, man. Like, especially if he has beads or something, like you have CC ready for when he's done with his ult, right? And you're going to CC him. What if he just pre-beads and then just kills you? Like, you're just done.
Also, the fact that one steals movement speed.
Yeah, it's very good. He's just very fast and has a lot of slows. Donzaburo. How do you feel about this guy?
I think he's the same boat-ish as like CERN is Apollo. I don't know if he's better. I think he's more annoying, and I think he's harder for people to fight because they don't know how to fight into his 2 and his 3 like haste effects. You have to play into him much slower. You have to really choose your fights into him compared to some other hunters. But
yeah,
I don't think he's like S or anything.
No, I think he's S- easily. I think he's good. I think he has like he can beat a Poseidon, for example. I think he can beat a lot of gods in the right situations, like if you catch him off guard, because he has the potential that. What I'm trying to say here is he abuses mistakes very well. If you misplay into him, he will kill you, and then he's a hunter, so a hunter with power on his passive, and he will be taking your objectives. So it's just like you have a character that's incredibly safe, is a hunter, abuses mistakes very well. Sounds like a good dual god to me. Like he's not perfect, but he's good, man. In fact, I would argue he's high S-. Like he can beat a lot of these gods.
I agree.
So yeah, Tiamat.
Tiamat, I think is good. I think she's only a couple people play her. I've seen Paul play her a couple times, and Polar Bear Mike plays her a lot.
Yeah,
but I think she's good. I think I don't know if you still do it. There was a small meta with her where you would go Soul Gem, and you would just like force your minions into their tower and Phoenix with Poly Soul Gem and just slowly dwindle it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you still do that, but
I don't know. I hate the character, so you might as well just take the lead
with
on this one.
how oppressing her late game is and the fact she can execute. She if you kind of play her like Baka, like just go on the buff they go on. Though if they're smart, they'll just get off it and kill you. But if you're a little rat, like the people that you hate, that just kind of waits for you to go on the buff. She's very oppressive if you do that.
Yeah, don't do that unless it's a tournament or I'll hate you. Anyways, yeah, I will never put her above A+, but I will put her in A+.
No, yeah, I think she's A+. I think she, with starters, and could get to late game easier. You could put her in S-, but I think she's A+.
Yeah, call it a day there. I don't have much to say about her. She has safe clear, but she's a mage who has poke and clear, can buy poly, whatever. But she's tanky. But like I just she's boring to me. She has what's it called? She has abysmal damage in the early game, in my opinion. I'm just a hater. What can I
Yeah,
say? I don't like the
her
god.
early game's really bad.
Gilgamesh, his kit's fine for Duel, I think, but the problem is he just doesn't do any damage. His clear is not great, and he doesn't do any damage. He got nerfed like
His ult
1,000
gets countered
times.
by jump or sprint. Yeah, his he's really predictable. He doesn't have good clear.
And
Doesn't
if
have a
they
lot of
have any
damage.
knockup immunity in their kit, you can go right over the ult with the knockup immunity. You can immune the 2 with the knockup immunity. His jump is
Yep.
slow. Like, I mean, he has a
His
lot of
best ability is
problems.
probably his 3.
Yeah, like, I mean, well, I don't know. I'm a kick fan, but I do agree his 3 is very good, though. His 3 is very good. Like, again, Gilgamesh's kit is fine. He just doesn't have the numbers. If they ever buff his numbers, he'll be different. Although his clear probably will still always be bad. But we got gooseberries, I guess, and golden lid's always an option.
Yeah, I used to go Bluestone Gilga, and I think that was the best way to play him when you
Yeah,
could go it, because it
that's what
just
I did too.
fixes early game.
I did that too. It was nice. Morgan Le Fay. This character is really good. Okay, let's look. Does Morgan Le Fay beat these gods? I think she loses. Okay, hold on, wait. She can win the early game, but still, realistically, if Kali gets to late, Kali should win, knock up immunity on the ult, etc. So I would say my opinion is lose, 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 lose. Probably lose. You win. Truthfully,
This was kind of even, right?
yeah, it's pretty even, I'd say. Lose, lose, lose. I think I think she's
Yeah, I think she's assassin.
She's a very good god, very great god. Great clear, amazing CC, good sustain. She has healing in her kit technically on the ult. You build lifesteal on her. She's a great poly user. Great level 3, by the way. She's no Ao Kuang or Hebo or Poseidon, but she has a great level 3 if you can hit the clone. The clone, by the way, is when you press her 1 and you use the third variation of it, the purple one. If you actually hit that in the early game, it spawns a clone that auto attacks, and it autos for the same damage you do. And you're not like a slouch as a mage. You have extra power in the early game, like from the buffs that I mentioned earlier about the class buffs. She just hits hard. She has a great early game. Pretty perfect kit, honestly. I have no complaints about her. She has no jump or anything. Her only mobility is movement speed, so that sucks. That's why she's limited. When she's dead, but she's a great character. Great outplay potential. Good god.
Yep, she's good enough where she can beat anyone if you have outplay or if they're just bad. Like her
Good at punishing
insane
mistakes.
kit, she can make you just not play the game.
Yeah. Charybdis. We don't have much time. I don't want to talk about this god too much.
Might be the worst hunter right now.
Yeah,
actually.
she just does no damage. Like I would rather play Rom, unironically. This might
be. You think she's A? I think she might be A. I think she might.
Let's see these gods.
Because she's still a hunter.
Would you really want to play into these gods as Charybdis though? I mean, like.
No, but 4 or 5 items with crit, she still wins. I think against all of them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry if you're a Charybdis fan. I don't have much to say about her. She's just underwhelming. Every single thing about her kit is underwhelming. She's pretty safe, and she's a hunter, so she's not unusable, but underwhelming.
Yeah, and her kit contradicts herself. Like you have to play her AA, but her ult is like the slowest animation possible.
Yeah. Cleo. I think Cleo's good. I think Cleo's very good. She has great Bull Demon Shred. And really safe just ulting the waves. A great Titan Shred. Still, if you're 6 items and you double ult the Titan, you almost you can kill it very easily. But like if there's a god there, you should be able to kill it like 90% of the time just by being there with a red buff and a double ult. It's very good. I think she's a solid S-. She's relatively safe. She goes into the wall.
Very safe.
She has
very hard to kill a clean if she knows the health threshold.
Yeah, and if she goes into the wall at the right times, it can be very good. Like for example, you're against an Iza, she pops her 1, you go into the wall, you only take a couple autos, then you take a fight after, or more, maybe more noticeable. You're against a Set, yeah, pop into that wall, baby, no problem. No big deal. I don't know, some other examples.
Yeah, anyone that has a full commit or has a stem, she just kind of hard counters.
Yeah, she's just good. Like she does a ton of damage. Very mobile. Very annoying too. You're gonna win the mental battle a lot with this character.
Yeah, she's a mental winner.
You're gonna make people surrender. You're gonna make people die from lazy backing because you keep stopping their back. Like you're gonna make people just hate you and then start playing worse. She's annoying to go against, but whatever. Shiva.
I wanted this god to be good. I played this god so much when he came out.
Yeah, I think.
But he's just not. He doesn't have enough damage, and his Same problem I said with like Sun Wukong
Mm-hmm.
with like his 1-2 ult just to get all the damage off takes so
It
long,
takes forever. Same thing
and
with
the auto
Cohen.
cancels are really slow on him.
Yep. Yeah, you want to go Hydras on him, and you probably should go Hydras on him, but it doesn't feel great though, because it takes forever.
No, it doesn't.
So like, while it's still probably good, and you probably should get it, it doesn't feel good. Which, like, when does your Hydras not feel good when you buy it? Like, what Hydras character doesn't feel good with Hydra? That's weird. You know, it's just a weird situation.
Yeah, if they made his 1-2 just faster in it, like end animations, I think he might even go up a whole tier.
Yeah. What I will say
Then,
though,
then he's just a super pokey, like, haha, I did half your HP with double knockup.
what I will say is, if you're, for whatever reason, in a situation where they just can't kill you over the course of 10 seconds of using your abilities, for whatever reason, this character does pump numbers. If you get your auto cancels in between, you get your full ult off, you know, he pumps. He does a lot of damage. But again, just like a lot of these other gods, you know, the average tier where there's going to be the most of the gods at, he just doesn't do anything special. You know, he's just a little bit clunky, does fair damage, but why wouldn't you just pick a higher tier? Just go Hercules. Like, just play Hercules. Why would you play Shiva? Yu Huang is a lot better than I gave him credit for. I said he was terrible, but the thing is I think he's comparable to Baba Yaga, actually. I think he clears the wave instantly. I think he's pretty safe with his 3, just like Baba. I think he has a defensive ult that makes people run away from you / you own them with. I honestly think he's the same thing as Baba Yaga. That's how I feel about him. I've played against him in Duel a couple times now. I went against Ranked Commander when he did it. And it was frustrating and annoying. And I won. I've never lost to Yu Huang, but I've had like annoying / somewhat competitive games. I mean, I think he's the same as Baba.
Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't played against him like almost ever. So my initial guess was A, but he probably, I mean, his late games I know is nutty.
Well, look at it this way. You go on Yu Huang, right? You jump on him. He roots you. He wants you. And then he polys you or whatever. And he goes in the air and he waits in the air for like 2 seconds. Lands and his 2-1 is about to come up again. And he's going to do it to you again. And then he ults. Or let's say his 2-1 isn't back up. Even though his 1 probably definitely will be. It's low enough cooldown. But let's say it's not. You use your combo. You jump in the air. You land. You poly him again. You ult. You push them back. And then you use your 2-1 again. Like, you will kill them. It does a lot of damage. If you don't die in that process.
It's just really bad.
Well, his early is good in the sense that he has good clear. He can at least clear very well and safely. But yeah, he doesn't exactly pump numbers either. I just, him and Baba might as well be the same god for me personally.
Yeah, no, I'm good with A+. That makes sense.
Lancelot is kind of like a Naja story with me. Honestly, that's just an assassin thing. But Lancelot struggles a bit in the early game. He doesn't have great clear. And like, you kind of get beat up, especially when your shield's not level up. But he has a really good late game. He has incredible scaling. He really does.
He feels a lot like Gilgo to me.
Really?
Yeah, just in terms of like he used to be really good. Now he's trash early, and you can make him work late.
Oh, well,
I don't mean like kit wise.
Yeah, well, what I was gonna say is like, yeah, his damage isn't. I don't know. My big thing is Gilga does no damage. This god scales super well. Like, granted, he's an assassin, not a warrior, but he pumps, man. Late game, he pumps.
He goes.
Like, do you not remember the freaking game I played against you with Iza? And don't get me wrong, I'm well aware you already said that you were just having a bad day that day. Like, you fumbled the ball that day. Everyone has bad days, but the point is you saw the numbers, right? Like, I was doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, if he gets a snowball, he can probably win most matchups.
Like, I think I don't know. It's like he seems kind of bad for S-, but at the same time, he is better than a lot of these gods in A+. I swear he is. I don't know. How do you feel?
I think I put him A+ just for his overall of the game, like throughout the game. But late game, he's like S- or S.
Just like look through these gods. Like realistically, who in here like for sure just beats Lance? Like for sure.
I don't know.
Actually, because that would just say, he's in the tier. Look at S-. Who for sure just, I mean, okay, hold on, okay. I don't know, bro. I think he might just be an S-, or I don't know. I think it's gonna be probably. I might also move tier down eventually. I'm not sure, but I think I'm gonna leave it
there.
Yeah, I we'll see when everything's done.
You can glance there, yeah.
It's like I'm looking at the other gods. Like, I mean, Tier's pretty competitive into a lot of these gods, I guess, to a certain degree. I'm gonna keep him there for now. You can change him on yours if you want. Ishtar, I know you like some Ishtar. I think she's above average for sure. I don't think she's anything special though. I think she's CERN Eza tier, very comparable character.
Yeah, I think she's S minus. Yep.
You know, good ult,
Nothing
good,
crazy. She has good
fair
steroids.
mobility.
She's good clear, good late game. She's a hunter.
I mean, this may seem like a boring review, but honestly, having a boring review is a good thing because that means we can't really think of many flaws. Like she just does everything she does pretty well. Nothing crazy amazing, but everything she does is just good. Doesn't have many flaws. She's a hunter with good clear. You know,
a lot of outplay potential with her ult.
Yeah, I think she's good. Surtur was a king, and then he fell a bit because he's
just an early game menace.
Yeah,
like,
he's literally Hercules.
And,
I swear he's Hercules, but it doesn't scale like Herc does. So what I mean is, like in the early and mid game, he's the same god. I swear he's the same god. But the difference is Herc will obliterate you and one shot you late game, and with like any build you want to go. Surtur does not do that. His build is more restricted, and he's slower and easier. Like his two's harder to land than a Herc push, I would argue, because it can be canceled too. Like I don't know. He's basically the same god as Hercules in my opinion until you get to late game, in which case he's just substantially worse. And so for that reason, I'd say he's an S minus, or in my opinion. I mean, well, hold on, let me look at the gods in S minus, because like he does have a really good early and mid game. Like he can snowball really hard, but realistically, should he beat any of these other gods? Like, I don't think he really beats any of this. Like maybe a couple, but I think eventually at one point or another, you know, he bullies them early, but where you're going to get to a stage of the game where he wins or he loses. Yeah, I think he's high A plus for sure. I think he's
that's
good.
where I put it instantly. I think he's just.
I just like him because his early is just great, man. His early is great. But
yeah, he's a noob stomper, I think.
Yeah, he's like Thanatos if Thanatos were tanky and it was way easier to land the one, basically. Like, but also if Thanatos had a worse late game. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just he has potential because early game's important in Duel, but if you're going against any player who knows what they're doing, oof. Marticarus. I would just say A plus or S plus before nerf, but after nerf, I'm looking more
probably just solid
here.
S.
Yep.
I think he's much more. I mean, that ult, yeah, it needed to happen. He's where he should be. It was just really dumb before.
Yep. Ult cooldown was nerfed, plus the damage was nerfed by like 46% or something, which is pretty considerable. 50%. His two cooldown got nerfed. It's still going to be a decent cooldown though when you build full CD. His healing on his passive got nerfed a little bit. Pretty much everything about him got nerfed, but a lot of people are saying he's dead now. Those people are noobs. His kit is too good. It's just like Yemoja. It's just like Gilgamesh. Obviously Yemoja in other game modes. But like, it's one of those kits that honestly possibly can never be bad unless they literally nerf him 400 times to the ground. Like his kit is just good, but his numbers did take. I don't know how to explain this. Long story short, he's very good, but he's not broken anymore. I just think he's just very good.
Yeah, he's always gonna be a good pick unless they like give him the Go-Go treatment and nerf him 8 times in a row. But unless that happens, he's gonna always be right there, I think.
One thing I will say though, because I know a lot of people are looking to improve on Duel, and there's also a lot of people who don't care about their skill. They just want the rank, baby. They can admit they suck at the game, and they're fine with that as long as they hit GM or Masters, right? If you're one of those people who suck and you know you suck, don't play Marty. Yes, he's good, but he's not straightforward like the other ones. You have to play smart. You have to use your bushes correctly. You have to know when to ult, when not to ult, kind of like Freya. Except he doesn't have as much damage in his kit like Freya to stand your ground with. So long story short, Marty is very good, but if you're not a good player, don't play Marty. I do not recommend it. He's not new player friendly in my opinion in Duel. Like maybe Conquest ADC, you just sit in a bush and throw your one at the waves and you're chilling. Okay, cool. But in Duel, he can be punished really easy for not having any mobility besides movement speed. So yeah. Bad players don't play Marty. If you know who you are, or maybe you don't. Ishel. This character pumps numbers and has a really good cooldown. I almost want to say she's here, but hold on, like let me look at these. Let me look at these gods here. Would she ever beat like a Hell or an Anubis or a Vulcan?
I think if you play her like how we were talking like Persephone, I think she's S minus. I think her damage is insane for how like simple her kit is. You just hit the 3 and you just get everything off.
Yeah, and it's not that hard either. Like, the abilities are like, because I'm trying to remember, I've only played her like twice. If I remember, one of the abilities is kind of small, and also her abilities are a little bit slow. So it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's also not difficult either. It's just not brain dead. You're not going to land it every single time.
I think she'll have a learning curve compared
Yeah,
to a lot of dual characters, but
yeah.
outside of that, yeah, I think she's just good.
All right,
She
man. That's where we
yeah,
are.
I mean a mage just wants a lot of damage. It sucks she doesn't have a dash or jump, but if you're a position king, it doesn't like you'll be
Yeah,
fine on
I mean,
there.
she has movement speed. It's just like Morgan Le Fay and Vulcan.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Vulcan has a little bit of a mobility, right? But I mean, there are a lot of characters like that. Movement speed is king at the end of the day. Well, it's not king as far as stats are concerned. Movement speed is king, but it's not actually the best escape. Like we talked about a couple times in this video so far. Jumps are king. Like jumps are where it's at,
Yeah.
or at least the ability to go over wall, I should say. You got Thor, TP, you got Merlin, blah blah blah, but they got their problems too. Like Merlin's jump is so short ranged, and it is a longer cooldown until late game. But the point is being able to go over a wall is where you want to be. Like even Cleo, for example, she doesn't have a jump, but she kind of has a jump. Why? Because she can go over a wall. She can go through the wall. So that's another reason why she's boosted up. It's just I don't even know why this thought just came to my head, and I probably shouldn't even say it, but just imagine if Poseidon could jump over a wall. Anyways, all right, so let's look at these gods here. Is anything sticking out to you that's just crazy, like especially in this A tier? Because I personally think there should probably be more characters in A tier.
Wait, who did you say?
I said like any characters that should be in A tier
Oh.
that snuck into A plus for some reason.
I think the main ones to look at are like maybe Nike. I think Nike's the only one. Maybe Rat, I guess. Rat's probably fine there. I think Nike could probably be an A.
You think so? Really?
I
Right. I
think
mean,
so. I think
Tirza has a master's Nike, so she must be good, you know?
that's true. Yeah, that is the qualification.
I don't know. I think the tier list is mostly fine. At the end of the day, it's also all subjective and it's our opinions. Like if you think that Ra is the best mage in Duel and you think he's average, like because another thing is like let's say we're wrong about King Arthur, right? And he's here. Okay, he's still bad. Like just because he goes from A to A plus doesn't make him. I mean, like he's still not good, guys. So really, the placements between A minus, A, and A plus aren't really that big of a deal. Honestly, a lot of it's matchups. Like a lot of it, I mean, A minus is pretty bad, but between A and A plus, like a lot of it's just matchups. Whether Kabrakan is better than Nuwa, well, what god are you versus? And then I'll answer your question. I think a lot of it is just based on that. I moved Cupid down. Looking at this list, do we think Cupid goes up? Do we think Agni goes up? We talked about that.
No, I think they're probably fine there.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument for no, I don't think anymore. No, I like Cupid being under those hunters.
Are we sure about Ishel? I don't even know if that's how you say your name, by the way, but whatever.
I think she could be A plus. I think we're giving her benefit of the doubt for being an S minus. But I don't think it's like an insane thought.
Yeah. I'm just looking at these gods. Like she can fight these gods. Like some of them, she
Yeah,
can fight them, man. She can.
yeah, she can.
Yeah. Okay. So are we overrating any of these boys? Like, should any of these guys go up? Or we talked about AMC. Let's look at that. What do we think about that? I think AMC loses to like every god.
I think AMC just goes down S minus and then I
I'm
think
gonna,
it's top S minus.
I'm gonna put him top S minus. That might be overrating him. Apollo, are we sure about that? We talked about that being overrated a little bit, potentially.
I think Apollo's fine there.
Looking at these gods.
I think SSS minus looks pretty good to me. I think Gilga might be A plus. I'm not sure.
Wait, where did I put Gilga?
You put him in S minus, or did I just put him in S minus by accident?
I don't even know
I
where
did,
I
yeah.
have him.
Okay. You have him at A plus. I think that's correct.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to mess my, like, if he did damage, he could probably be S minus. Yeah, he had a great late game when he did damage. He would just kick somebody into a wall and insta kill them when you camp a corner.
Yep.
Like, and he can do that a little bit now. I'm not saying you can't kick someone into the wall and burst them, but you're not gonna. They're gonna be unstunned and they're gonna jump away, and you're gonna have to chase them. You ain't killing anybody off of a kick anymore. But you
All
know,
right. So if you want to touch it up a little bit next 1 or 2 minutes, but I gotta get going.
yep. Okay, no problem, man. Thank you for doing the tier list, man. I appreciate it.
Yep,
Because
it was a
I
lot
know
of
you're a
fun.
busy guy and you're not getting much content out of this either. So I appreciate it. Thank you,
It
thank
was
you.
just fun.
All right.
Always glad to talk about the game I have 14K hours in.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I will, not to say you're going to become famous off this, but I will be putting your links, which I'm going to tell them as soon as you leave, but I will be putting your stuff in the description too.
Mhm.
All right, man. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, see you, man.
See ya. All right, we left the call. Oh, wait, no, we didn't leave the call. I stopped streaming. Oops. Okay. All right. I left the call now. I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list. I know we kind of rambled a lot. It was a little bit, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I think we did a pretty good job. Again, at the end of the day, if you skipped to here and you didn't watch the beginning or you haven't heard it, that's why I'm repeating myself so much, because most people aren't going to watch this 3.5 hour video. Let's be real. Most people are going to skip to the end, and to see the tier list here, I'll scroll down. I mean, obviously you can just pause at any point, but if you're listening to me right now and you want to see, you can pause and I'll scroll through it. I talked about the Guardians. Again, tier lists are subjective, man. It's all about your opinion. It's all about how good you are at the character. It's all about your play style, stuff like that. At the end of the day, this average category here is super fat, and there's a lot of gods here. But like again, if you're an Odin main, you like Odin, you're really good at him, and you're not gonna win all your games playing Odin, but you can win a lot playing Odin, right? You can win a lot playing Agni. These average characters, we're not going to talk too much about the below average, but maybe even Guan should go up, by the way. I think Guan being here is a little bit disrespectful. He's good. Hun Batz being here sucks because he's so fun and I like him, but Magi's, Hun Batz would go up if not for Magi's, but Magi's is a thing, unluckily. But anyways, at the end of the day, if you like a character, you should play them. You know what I mean? You should play them, especially if you don't want to get 100% of your wins. But the top GM players, or at least, maybe I'll just speak for myself. I don't like to lose. I don't think losing is fun. So I would like to optimally win in most of my games. So if you watch the gods I play on stream, a lot of them, like, I don't play these tier characters. I will play some S- ones. I like Vulcan, stuff like that. I like Pele a little bit, gods. But most of the characters I pull from are in the S, one of the 3 S's, and that's what I would recommend to you if you're trying to get W's. But again, if you play, or if you like any of these characters underneath, man, just play them. Have a good time. Try to have fun with it. Most people are gonna just care about this part. And as far as like whether Chrono should be S plus or S minus, little stuff like that, it really doesn't matter that much, guys. It's not that big of a deal. So please try your best to hold back from all the hate comments or whatever. Like at the end of the day, it's not the tiers are not that big of a deal. If you're really good at a character, you're probably gonna make them work. Especially like for example, if you're the best Anubis player in the world, you're probably better off picking Anubis than picking Poseidon if you're not as good as Poseidon, right? For example. But also, I didn't even talk about Anubis, by the way. I think we didn't go back because I wanted to go back and see if I really thought Anubis was in that placement. Do I think he should be placed higher or not? Truthfully, I'm looking at these gods here, and I think Anubis being an S minus is a little bit criminal. I think he's very good, but he is easy to punish. So we're gonna say he's in like the top of S minus. I did say I was going to categorize this part a little bit, throw some gods up there that are honorable mentions, are really good A tiers, but honestly, I'm just going to forget it, move on. This is the tier list, guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful time watching the video or just skipping till the end. Either way, I appreciate you just clicking the video. Thank you. Again, the person with me, because I should have said it in the beginning of the video, but I didn't because I'm a noob. But the person who is with me is named Riley. That's his real name. He goes by FawkinHawkin. If you're interested in his content, he does. I'm not sure if he has YouTube or not, to be honest with you, or if he does. I'm not sure if he uploads. If he does, I'll put it in the description. But he does stream, not super often, because I think he's playing a different game right now, just taking a little bit of a break. He also has class, and I think he's in college. So he's a kind of a busy guy, so he doesn't stream that much, but he does stream. He makes content. He plays the game. He is a GM player. He's somebody that's beaten me many times. I've beaten him many times. He is a good player, and he does know what he's talking about most of the time. So I definitely recommend you check out his content, and also, give him the benefit of the doubt on some of his opinions, even though I did agree with a lot of his opinions. But just in case you didn't, you're like, who's this noob? He is a GM player and a good friend of mine for many years. So hope you guys check out his content again. The links will be below. His name is FawkinHawkin. His links will be below. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch the video or just click it, whatever. And yeah, I don't know how to wrap this up, man. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.